8 championship contenders remain. Josh Harbin from Levine Family Gaming. Josh Parker from Gibbs Gaming. Maxwell Castro from Chip Ganassi Gaming. Brandon Gritton from Stuart Haas Esports. Justin Brooks from JTG Doherty Throttlers. Slade Gravett from Wood Brothers Gaming. Daniel BUTTAFUOCO from Germain Gaming. Brian Tedeschi from Team Penske Esports. Who will be the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 champion?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Championship Finale. I'm Hannah Newhouse, as joined always by my co-host, Rusty Wallace, and let me tell you, I know I am excited. It has been a full season of action, of some animosity, elbows throwing, but it comes down to tonight. Rusty, how are you feeling, and what is your excitement level right now?
Oh, you know me. I'm excited beyond belief, but the one word that came to mind when they announced these 3 tracks was wild. We've seen what these drivers have been willing to do for a race win, a segment win, but tonight a championship is on the line. And we're going to talk about this for the first time ever. 28 drivers are sharing the racetrack. So that is going to be another challenge that's going to present to these competitors. But we're also headed to 3 of the most competitive tracks in the game. So you know it's definitely going to be wild.
Yeah, absolutely. And we announced those tracks just a week or so ago, starting the evening at Michigan, then going to Phoenix, and finally crowning a champion at Bristol Motor Speedway. But take a look here on how this event is going to be ran, because it's a little bit different than what we've had in past NASCAR Heat Championships, different from last year, and it's a new introduction to this current season here. But it's going to be a process of elimination, Rusty, starting with all 8 drivers that'll take on Michigan, and then it's the last man standing at Bristol.
Yeah, so all 28 drivers are going to share the track, but this tournament bracket is elimination style. After Michigan, the 2 lowest finishing order drivers, they're out of here. Then we're headed to Phoenix with 6 championship eligible drivers and still the whole 20-car field. And then the lowest 2 guys, they're going to be eliminated. And then it's going to be the championship 4 at Bristol, battling it out for the championship. I cannot wait to see who's involved and what's going to happen.
Hey, everyone always says we need more short tracks, and we're going to crown one at a short track tonight. But take a look here again at a video on how this championship is going to go down.
After 12 regular season races and 1 wildcard race, 8 drivers from 8 different teams remain in the hunt for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 championship and a total of $30,000. Race 1 from Michigan International Speedway will see the top 6 championship contenders keep their title hopes alive, with the bottom 2 drivers being eliminated at the end of the race. Race 2 from Phoenix Raceway will see the contenders compete again, with the top 4 advancing through to the final race and the lowest finishing 2 drivers eliminated. The final race coming to Bristol Motor Speedway will feature the final 4 drivers battling it out, with the highest finishing of the eligible drivers being crowned the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 champion.
Eight drivers and only 1 champion will leave tonight. And Rusty, we had the chance to talk to a couple of the drivers over the last couple weeks and yesterday before they qualified leading into today's race. And needless to say, there's a lot of confidence in these top 8 drivers. I thought that there would be some more nerves, a little more uneasiness, knowing that we're going to 3 completely different racetracks and their chances at a championship get slimmer and slimmer. But they weren't that way at all. They all were confident, knowing that, hey, they're here in the top 8 for a reason.
Yeah, you nailed it. The confidence just blew us away in these interviews. The drivers, they were ready to hit the racetrack days ago. They didn't even want to do practice. They just wanted to hop on the track and get going, and they get to do that here tonight. But the fun thing is, some of these drivers, their confidence levels is displayed in different ways. You get kind of the quiet kind of confidence from a Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, and then sometimes you get the boisterous hype from Josh Harbin. So you're going to see all ranges of that confidence on display tonight as they're battling to get their way into that championship.
Hey, but there's also a lot of drivers on the racetrack as well that are not part of this 8 that are going for the championship. Again, they are all racing on the same platform tonight, and we've got your schedule of events here. So all of the drivers that you've seen competing on both the Xbox and the PlayStation platform, they're all competing tonight on that PC platform. So not long from now, we're going to throw the green flag at Michigan. Shouldn't take too long there, being a shorter race. Then we're going to go to Phoenix. And finally, around 9:24, we're going to go to Bristol. And not long after that, guys, we're going to have our 2020 eNASCAR Heat Pro League champion. It's been quite a season, though, Rusty, that's led us here. 13 races in total. And then, we had that championship race at the tail end of our 3 segments. It's been a wild ride, needless to say, to get here.
Yeah, one of the first races of the year at Watkins Glen, I knew it would set the tone for the rest of the way with just contact and that style of driving where just if the win is on the line, they're going to do what it takes to get the win, and it's going to carry through tonight. We're going to see maybe a little bit of a games being played at Michigan where anybody can win that thing, but once we head to Phoenix, it's just the cream is going to rise to the top, and then Bristol, that is going to be the most unbelievable race I've ever seen in this game. These drivers are ready for it. We talked about it. They're prepared. They're ready to go, and they just want to hit the racetrack.
Well, it's taken a full season to get here, and if you weren't able to join us for the prior to championship night, take a look at how we crowned our 8 championship contenders and how we got here.
Walker still leads the way, but Brooks, the segment 1 winner in the outside lane, making headway and leads the lap. And as Brooks brings him to the line, crashing behind, the top 2 have pulled away side by side, coming to the stripe. Brooks is going to be able to hold off the 3 of McGraw coming across the line. Oh, that one wasn't quite as crazy. This one, Castro, he's running in the 2nd spot from Sacramento, California. And he's ready to make a move, closing the gap as we cross the line. 1 to go. He buries it into turn number 1, and it will be Castro taking the lead, Hannah. Some contact, Castro hanging on, coming to the checkered. Look out sideways, into the fence they go. Big crash at the front of the field. Castro crossing the line.
Is one of the most aggressive drivers in the league, and he's going to stuff his nose in there every single time, especially when it's 1 to go.
Britton still leads the way, coming to the checkered flag for a segment win and a race win in Atlanta. It's Brandon Britton.
Britton, man,
was 8 points down of the championship coming in. Sorry, and look at the craziness. Harbin walking away, dejected the way that race ended for him. Final 13 turns for BUTTAFUOCO coming up as he heads down into turn number 2 with the lead on the last lap. BUTTAFUOCO way out front in that Geico number 13, making his final turns. Halfway through the lap and will be coming to the victory. Smile on his face in the lower left. He looks pretty happy as there he goes, crossing the line. The Geico number 13. BUTTAFUOCO claims his 2nd road course win of the season.
But we're seeing 3 wide behind Josh Parker for the lead with Maxwell Cash on the bottom. As we see Brandon Gritton getting a little bit of run on the outside. This is good stuff. Down the back stretch, just like a head off into turn 3. I think Josh might send it here. Let's take a look.
Josh Parker will come to the line and win here at Auto Club Speedway in the PlayStation race. What a few final laps, Rusty.
Look at Josh Parker celebrate. He earned that 1-1.
And Jay Pennell, he called it. He said, take an eye and keep a watch on Slade Graven. And right now, he is action knowing BUTTAFUOCO's got fresh tires, but final lap. Slade Graven looking for that win, and Brooks looking for that lock-in position. This could be the lap that puts them both in good position.
The spin, number 21, exits turn number 4, comes across the line at Virtual New Hampshire and claims.
BUTTAFUOCO's dropping the back, but I have to point out, Tedeschi made an incredible move to yank that car down to the inside of the bottom of the racetrack to put himself in position to win this wild card race. He's sitting there in P3.
Tedeschi have the spot at the moment. They bounce off of each other. McGraw potentially into the wall. Checkered flag flies. You can see it. There's your emotion. Brian Tedeschi will race for a championship here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro.
Josh Harbin, he's just cruise control. He's one of the most confident drivers in the league, and I've raced with this guy at Daytona. He's going to be really tough to pass.
Right now, Josh Harbin with the position. Cody Giles behind him. They're blocking. They're playing protect mode. Coming to the checkered flag. You'll have to watch. They beat and bang off of each other. Britton in the 2nd spot, 3 and 4 wide. Checkered flag flies. You can see it. The excitement. Josh Harbin into the playoffs. His family there with him. The driver out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, will race for a championship once again here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Rusty, Well, Rusty, if that doesn't explain the excitement that we've had all season long, I got chills watching Brandon Gritton take that segment win, and Josh Harbin had heartbreak, but you saw it there at the end of it, winning that lock-in race. The excitement from Tedeschi, Josh Parker now taking the wheel off, and his celebratory taking the wheel off of his sim there, his Fanatec sim. It's been so exciting all season long. There's been heartbreak, there's been rejection, but all 8 of these guys have had outstanding seasons. And we're going to take a look again at this bracket here on how it breaks down, Rusty, on who those 8 guys are once again and how they could transition forward.
And this is really kind of a dream bracket looking at these 8 drivers, 8 of the strongest drivers we've seen this season. Maxwell, Castro, and Justin Brooks. Maxwell, Castro won segment 1. Justin Brooks, he's basically your title favorite. Brandon Gritton, your defending champion. Daniel BUTTAFUOCO won 3 times this year. Josh Parker might be the hottest driver in the game. Slay Gravett, keep an eye on him. Josh Harbin, we talked about how clutch he is. And Brian Tedeschi might be a wild card to keep an eye on.
Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, Rusty, but I am going to put you on the spot here. Looking at Michigan, you've been watching practice. You got to watch over the last couple of days. Do you have a favorite maybe to win Michigan as we get ready to start Michigan here shortly, whether it's in the top 8 or even those that are not contending for this championship?
Yeah, Michigan's a bit of a wild card. It's similar to what we saw at Auto Club. The draft plays a huge factor into the racing, so anybody can win this deal. I expect Josh Parker to be pretty strong like we saw at Auto Club, but you can't discount Justin Brooks. He's dominant, but I'm looking at a guy like Kyle Arnold. Watch him to kind of put a statement down. He's not in the championship eligible drivers, but he's been in contention for race wins, leading laps all year. I want to see what Kyle Arnold can do here today.
And these guys have been taking this extremely seriously, as they should. We talked to Maxwell Castro just yesterday. He took 5 days off of work in order to be completely prepared for tonight's championship finale, because I don't want to say you only get one shot at it, but you really do only get one shot at it when it comes down to transferring each and every race. One bad race could put you out of contention for that grand prize. But we got a chance again to catch up with some of the drivers on some final thoughts here before they get ready to race for a championship. And also a couple of our friends in NASCAR decided to send these guys some good luck messages. Take a look.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Josh Harbin. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Hi there, Justin Brooks, driver 37, Cottonelle Chevy for JGD Doherty Racing and eNASCAR Pro League.
I'm Maxwell Castro. I race for Chip Ganassi Gaming.
I'm Dan BUTTAFUOCO, driver for Germain Racing.
Hi everyone, I'm Slay Gravett and I drive for Wood Brothers Gaming.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian Tedeschi, Shelby Power 22, driver the number 22 Shell Penzel Ford Mustang for Team Penske Esports.
Hi, my name is Josh Parker. I'm the driver for Joe Gibbs Gaming.
It would mean the world to me to end the season as your champion.
It would be a dream come true.
I would be honored and humbled to be the eNASCAR champion.
It'd be a huge honor to win the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Championship in Season 2.
We worked hard all year to get to this point, and I want to capitalize on the opportunity. Obviously, everyone dreams to be a NASCAR champion, and this is our time to shine.
Definitely biggest rival, as I always said before, Daniel BUTTAFUOCO.
Justin Brooks.
Under Justin Brooks.
Justin Brooks.
No one.
Not really the biggest rival, not really for anybody.
Favorite track is definitely Homestead Miami Speedway.
Anything from California.
I love all tracks. I just love racing in general.
It's obviously Michigan International Speedway.
Gateway Motorsports Park, or also known as WWT Raceway.
It's Homestead Miami Speedway.
No, I'd have to say Sonoma.
What do I do with the winnings? I was looking to go to college, just coming up here, so that would be a big help with that.
My first move is going to be buy a house.
I would save all my winnings. Save them for the future.
Definitely go right to savings.
My girlfriend's expecting a ring, so we're going to do big moves with the money.
And last but not least, the best part about racing in the Pro League, I tell you, man, that's a lot of cool things about the Pro League, about racing in it.
That you're racing against the best of the best.
The ability to represent Team Penske on the eNASCAR front.
You're getting a full NASCAR experience, which makes it a dream come true.
Being a part of a race team and getting that whole experience. You know, we all dream of this as kids, and now we get to live that dream.
This is Team Penske NASCAR driver Brad Keselowski here to announce the first race of the eNASCAR Pro Heat League Series playoffs. It's my home track, Michigan National Speedway. Have a good one, guys. Good luck. And to all the fans, hope you enjoy watching.
Hey eNASCAR Heat Pro League fans. This is Christopher Bell, driver of the number 95 for Levine Family Racing. I want to wish my teammate Josh Harbin good luck as he competes for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 Championship.
Hey eNASCAR Heat Pro League fans, this is Germain Racing driver Ty Dillon. I want to wish my Germain Gaming teammate Daniel BUTTAFUOCO good luck as he competes for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 Championship.
Good luck, Brandon! Hey guys, Cole Custer here. Be sure to tune into the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 Championship Finale on Wednesday, August 19th at 8 p.m. Be sure to cheer on my Stewart-Haas Esports teammate, Brandon Gritton.
So you got to advance through all the first 2 rounds to make it to the Final Four, and then whoever wins pretty much will win the championship.
So will it just be 4 of you running, or is it like our deal where it's the entire field, but just 4 of you can win the championship?
Yeah. It'll be all 28 of us are still on the track, all 3 races. But
so you didn't piss anybody off during the season that's going to screw this up?
He pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what we are at SHR, by the way. So
that's right.
If anybody in this league has a driving style like yours, it's definitely Brandon. He uses that bumper a lot.
Love it. I love it.
Hey, eNASCAR Pro League racing fans. This is Ryan Priest, driver of the number 37 JTG Doherty Racing Chevrolet. Good luck to my JTG Throttlers teammate, Justin Brooks. He competes in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Season 2 Championship.
Hey everybody, it's Kirk Busch. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Maxwell Castro. He's going to be in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Championship. Let's all go and root him on. Best of luck, bring it home for Ganassi.
And what a trio that was there. You had Smoke, Jake Morris, who's the voice of Stewart-Haas Esports, and Brandon Gritton. You can see them all here getting ready to go for our first race at Michigan, Rusty. But what a trio, and how cool it was to see a lot of these guys with different plans that they have for this purse money. Josh Parker, you know his girlfriend, watched this and heard him talk about a ring. Then you've got BUTTAFUOCO, and you've got Slade, who's trying to pay his way through college. Everyone's got a little different plan for this, but it's so cool to see how this is going to get put to use.
Yeah, everybody's got a plan, but until that bumper gets put to them, that thing might go out the window. But it is really exciting to see these guys start to think about maybe winning that championship. I love seeing Tony Stewart talk to the defending champion, Brandon Gritton. That's a dream come true for him as his favorite driver. But this is a dream for everybody at home right now. All the drivers sharing the track at the same time, 28 drivers, thanks to ASUS. This is going to be an unbelievable show.
And it is, again, the first time all of these guys have been on track together. You've got your front row here, and we'll take you through that grid. But first, the details on what this race, this first one at Michigan, will entail. And we'll keep you guys up to date on who is who and where during the race as far as our championship contenders. First, the lap length in total and the details here on Michigan. Your front row, though, Justin Brooks leading the field to green. Blue is Zader right next to him, Rusty.
In row 2, we're taking a look at Tyler DOHAR with a really strong qualifying position in P3. Kyle Arnold in P4. He is a 2-time winner this season. Keep an eye on him.
In row 3, at the bottom, again, you guys can see, you will see championship contender is below their name when they are a contender. So Jose Ruiz on the inside, and on the outside of him, Maxwell Castro. There's that championship contender mark.
And row 4 is a really strong row. We have Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, driver of the number 13 for Germain Gaming. And on the outside, it's Brandon Gritton, your defending champion. Keep an eye on those two guys coming from row 4.
Row 5. Again, I'm looking forward to watching row 4, but take a look here at row 5 and where they'll roll off. You've got Diego Alvarado on the inside, and one of his buddies, Petty Esports, making up row 5 with Mike Bross on the outside.
That's pretty cool. Those guys get to start next to each other for this inaugural championship event right here. And on the row behind him, we had Slade Gravitt. He's your #1 overall draft pick from season 1. He's out there with Wood Brothers Gaming. He's looking to make his way to the front, and he's on his outside is Nick Jobs.
And in row 6, take a look there. Slade Gravitt starting a little bit farther back, being that championship contender. And the outside of him is Nick Jobs.
Taking a look here at row 7, Joey Stone driving for RCR Esports. He's looking for a really competitive day today. TJ McGowan on his outside in the JTG Doherty Throttlers car.
And I don't think you can count Joey Stone out for a potential win. But Josh Harbin for Levine Family Gaming, your championship contender. In row 8, on the outside of him with Penske Esports is Corey Rothgeb.
In row 9, we have a pair of Gibbs Gaming drivers. We're taking a look at Matthew Heel in the 51th Rowdy Energy, and we got Josh Parker on his outside in that Interstate Batteries car.
And row 10, a couple drivers making to look a good run tonight. Joe Gornick has shown some speed, looking for a breakthrough win this evening on the inside, and Cody Giles on the outside of him for Wood Brothers Gaming.
Taking a look back here in row 11, even though they're starting back out this far back, they still have an opportunity to work their way forward. We have Brandon Hanna in the 17 for Roush Fenway Gaming, and Jordan McGraw in the number 3 Chevy for RCR Esports.
And in row 20, or in row 12 for you, take a look. Matthew Selby got that win at Eldora on the dirt side, and Sam Morris, Mordog for Hendrick Gaming Club, will round out row 12.
And I believe we're coming to green here, and I can't think about how historic this event is. 20 of the best NASCAR Heat drivers in the world ready to put on a show, but 8 of these drivers, this means everything for them. Only 6 advance. We got $70,000 of prize pool money on the line. Well, I can't wait to see the show.
And the green flag will go in the air for the championship race here at the eNASCAR Heat Pro League Michigan Speedway. Green flag flies. Justin Brooks will lead the field to green. The first race of 3 this evening. 30 total laps for these drivers. The nerves have to go out the window now, Rusty. It's time to get down to business.
Yeah, once that green flag flies, you got to lock in and get in the zone and start to think about working your way forward and putting yourself in position to win this race. You saw them early on work their way to the bottom. That's the place you want to be. You want to get in line towards the bottom and get in a draft and get in a run, but you see the outside is a place you can make work here at Michigan. You can go 2, 3, sometimes even 4 wide, especially down the front stretch when you're pulling behind somebody, and you need to do that. You need to get the draft. You got to stay in the draft today if you want to be competitive and have a shot at winning this race.
And I apologize again, 34 laps now to go. I said 30 previously. Justin Brooks, your leader, and you'll see on the ticker eventually, as you can see them now, all of your championship contenders will be highlighted in the green so you can keep track of where they are on the racetrack at all points. But Rusty, it makes me nervous early on here in this race to see these guys bouncing around on each other. And I know it's early to say as well, but Tyler DOHAR in this second spot, he's good on racetracks like this. He could be one that we could keep an eye on. This could be fuel strategy for him. But a breakthrough win wouldn't be out of the question for someone like him. But don't look now, because here comes Castro. Zader has been quick as well, and we could see a breakthrough win for him.
Yeah, the Ganassi Gaming drivers are getting in line, working together. Keep an eye on Luis Zader. He was a top draft pick for Ganassi Gaming. He has speed. He's had speed all year, qualified well. He's just got to put the full race together. Maxwell Castro, his teammate, he was the segment 1 winner. He has the ability to win at any racetrack. As you can see, he's working his way forward up into P2 with some help on the bottom from his teammate. But you talked about it, Tyler DOHAR. He's been competitive all season on the Xbox side. It would not surprise me if he did pick up that first one, but this is still a long ways to go, and you got to work with each other and kind of get to that pit stop and just keep that car nice and clean.
And we're riding along board with Diego Alvarado riding in that 7th spot, right behind Daniel Buttafuoco. You see your front row below Maxwell Castro and Justin Brooks. Brooks been so strong this season. Castro started the season off with a win and carried some late season momentum. Currently your front row, DOHAR, Zader, all of them in front swapping positions. Alvarado, though, now amidst a 3-wide situation. To the bottom of him, the 44 of Bross's teammate gets the pass on him. Brandon Gritton will follow along on the inside. And you have to wonder the learning curve these guys have had to go through, transitioning from their respective platforms now to the PC platform. And they've had about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get used to this, to practice, as our partner Asus was able to supply these guys with some incredible technology and gaming to be able to put this event on. But Brandon Gritton quickly making his way here to the front in that 8th position. But when you combine these 2 platforms, Rusty, you're getting the best of both worlds. It's going to be hard to see a standout.
Yeah, the competition on both platforms has gotten tougher and tougher as the week and the season has gone on. Literally anybody can win every week. I know Justin Brooks has got a lot of wins, but any of these guys can step up and win, especially at Michigan. And that's what makes this track so challenging, and there's so much of a wild card that we talked about. Just, you could be in position to win, but the draft will play a huge factor, and they could just drive on right by it, as we can kind of see Maxwell Castro and his teammate Luis Zader kind of working together on the bottom. But look, they're still 2-3 wide in the back, and that's what you can make work here, and that's what makes this track a lot of fun. I'm not sure they want to be 2-3 wide right now, but as a race car driver in this game, this is about as fun as it gets. But I'm sure they just want this thing to kind of filter out and kind of get into a kind of a groove here. But there's opportunity to make your way forward on the high side. If you can get some help, you can see those guys up there, just get a little bit of help, you can move forward. We see Tyler DOHAR still up there with Diego Alvarado. They can make that work, and I think they might want to make it work, because you can see they're all nose to tail on that bottom. They're playing defensive on the bottom right there, just trying to keep those guys on the high side. We're right on board here with one of our championship contenders, Brian Tedeschi. He's stuck up on there on the high side, but you can see him wheeling it a little bit down to turn 1. It is kind of a tight entry. You see him kind of miss the entry in a little bit wash high, but you got to keep an eye on the exit at turn 2, because that wall comes up on you really quick. So hopefully he didn't pancake it on the exit there.
Ooh, and a close call that was, like you said, Rusty. Went high up there and came back down into a 3-wide situation. But hey, they're 3 wide in multiple places throughout the racetrack right now. Gravett was in about the 14th spot, now is up to the 11th spot, so making moves very quickly to catch another championship contender of Gritton. But someone like Tedeschi, who currently runs in that 25th spot, he's got to get it in gear. It's still 28 laps to go, but again, this is an elimination round. The bottom 2 finishers of our contenders will not go on to contend at Phoenix. The next racetrack we'll visit right after this. But right now, BUTTAFUOCO now breaks into the top 3. He's with Castro and Brooks. Jumps back to the 4th spot. It's a hornet's nest pretty much the entirety of the racetrack right now. I just saw 3 wide for the 3rd and 4th place. Everyone right now, for being so early in the race, Rusty, is racing with all guards off.
Yeah, they're just having fun right now. I love seeing Luis Zader up there mix it up with Mike Bross. 2 of the non-championship contenders not afraid to mix it up with the championship contenders. That's what I love to see as a fan here today. But we're seeing some of the cream rise to the top with BUTTAFUOCO working his way up into the top 3 with Castro and Brooks. We've seen all season on the Xbox side, BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks. They've been kind of 1-2, but now we have a PlayStation driver up in the mix. That's what we talked about, is how competitive these 2 fields are, and we're finally bringing them together here tonight. And it's just going to play out through the rest of this race. Guys that don't really have experience racing around each other, coming from PlayStation, racing against the Xbox side, so we're going to kind of see that play out a little bit, but we know that BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks have some familiarity with the rivalry and their on-track experience, so Castro's kind of sitting there as the wild card right now. P2 just pushing them in line, just hanging out and trying to get to the end of this race.
And a lot of these guys familiar with each other outside of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, having had raced with each other. Someone like Slade switching platforms from Season 1 to Season 2. And while we've got our top 3 current runners as championship contenders, the guys that are racing hard behind them, you may wonder why they're pushing so hard, not being in contention for a championship. Well, there's still an additional $10,000, Rusty, that will be dispersed throughout the rest of the finishing field. So a couple positions here, whether it be at Michigan or the next 2 races, could be a huge differential in how much these guys get paid out at the end of the season.
Yeah, you mentioned the $10,000 they're fighting for. They're fighting for every penny, but they're also kind of fighting for their jobs. They want to perform for their team and sponsor to hopefully be back in Season 3. So right now they're trying to, like a Mike Bross, he's looking for his first career win. A Corey ROTHGEB, he did win this season, but he wants to get the 2nd win for Team Penske. So all these guys are trying to just show that they belong here, that they have the ability to get the job done. And when you're up there mixing it up with the best drivers in the business, we're riding on board with Josh Harbin kind of back in the pack. But if you're able to go out there as a non-championship contender and outdrive Josh Harbin, that kind of says a lot. So I really enjoy seeing these guys not afraid to mix it up early on this race.
And that they are, that little swarm at the tail end of the field right now. A couple of those drivers, including the 95. And again, there's going to be some difference between the 95 that you're currently seeing. The one we're looking at right now is Josh Harbin, and may look a little bit similar, but he's driving an IT consultation car for Levine Family Gaming, and his teammate is in the Portal car. So we'll keep you up to date on where everyone is at within that. Tedeschi, though, still trying to make some moves to get his way forward. He's picked off a couple positions, now up to about the 22nd position. He'll still have to make some more moves. But hey, Joey Stone, Rusty, in that 10th spot, looking to move up. Hey, we've got guys coming down pit road, your leaders. Castro and Brooks come down pit road, but BUTTAFUOCO stays out. This could be a twist that we didn't really expect to see with people splitting pit road, Rusty, with 23 to go.
It appears these drivers are splitting this race into thirds. So they're planning on a 2-stop race, assuming a yellow will not come out. So they're coming down, they're getting 4 tires, tank of gas right now. So they're going to come out with the 4 fresh tires. They're going to make them really fast. And it's important to come down pit road together and exit together. So you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to get a penalty, because when that happens, you get split up from the pack and you're going to lose a ton of track position, as we've seen all season long. So you're right on board here with Tyler DOHAR. You can see how just kind of the entry into pit road, it's not that treacherous. It is kind of a safe, easy entry, but it's still tough because you got to get this thing back down to about 55 miles an hour, and it's deceiving when you're out there racing at those top speeds. So it looks like they all made it down there safe. We're right on board with Brooks on the apron here as he exits pit road, and you can kind of go full throttle down there. As you see him kind of come up through the blend line, you don't have to really lift on the apron. You can just gas it and go, and he makes it perfectly off the pit road with Maxwell Castro. So our 2 championship contenders are still leading this thing after pit road cycles are about to come through.
And you saw how potentially close that was when Brooks was down below that blend line, and you saw Matthew Heel outside of him on the racetrack. Now at the bottom is Matthew Heel will come down pit road. These guys have to be so careful, though, coming down pit road. Like he'd said, we saw Josh Parker with a wiggle with that second group. They're all coming off now joining the rest of the field, and it's so easy to mess up, and that could be the end of your night. We've seen it before. We've seen Harbin in contention before and lose some time on pit road. We saw Tyler DOHAR, that happened to him once or twice, losing some position on pit road. But so far, everyone executing pit road pretty well. But BUTTAFUOCO, now who was your leader, comes down pit road with McGraw and Morris. So this will cycle, like you said, Justin Brooks and Maxwell Castro back to the front. Mike Bross along there with them. Brandon Gritton now up to that 4th spot, though. And I have to say, I know it's still early in championship night, but if Gritton gets to the top 3, what do you expect here, Rusty? Because he's an all or nothing guy at all times. Doesn't matter if he transfers into the 2nd round via a 3rd place finish. Brandon Gritton wants to win at all times.
Yeah, we know Brandon Gritton, he's not afraid to mix it up and make some contact and by all means possible to get the win. But he did talk to us coming into tonight's championship event. The one race he kind of had the question mark on was Michigan. He told us he was kind of scared if he would advance or not. And if he advanced from Michigan, it was confidence for that championship all the way. We talked about how confident he is at Bristol, but he said Michigan was the one track he was worried about. You see him with these guys on his bumper. He's definitely, he's not even looking in his rear mirror. He's just looking forward. He's trying to reel in Mike Bross for P3, but Brandon Gritton right there, that is your defending champion. If he's in position to advance here, he's going to be a guy to keep an eye on to win this championship.
And it's anyone's game really early on in this race. Still 20 laps to go. And like you'd mentioned, Rusty, we still will have another pit cycle with these guys splitting this race into thirds. A caution could throw everyone out the window, though, with Gritton now catching up to the back bumper of Bross. Trying to trail down Mike Bross. He's got Jose Ruiz, Corey ROTHGEB, and Alvarado there right with him. Those 4 really forming a pack. They're going to catch Mike Bross very quickly here. And if these 5 cars team up, there's a good chance that they have the capabilities to reel in Brooks and Castro. And I love the array of tracks that we've chosen for our championship finale, Rusty, because we're going to go to a racetrack like Michigan where they're going to have to work together as much as they don't want to. They're going to have to work together to draft and to work together to catch the leaders. Then we go to Phoenix, and it's a little less like that. And then all bets are off at Bristol, where we'll put the elbows up, and everyone's able to fight their own battle at the last great Coliseum. But Slade Gravitt here now on the outside, slipping backwards. Unfortunately, got shuffled out of that draft. You're going to see Josh Parker, Joey Stone, and Jose Ruiz right there pushing each other. Slade Gravitt now dropping like a rock.
And he talked about working together. As soon as Slade kind of opened up the bottom, Josh Parker, Joey Stone, and Louis Zader, they all got nose to tail and just drove right on by him. So they had to work together to coordinate that pass. But I can't explain how tough that is to actually drive in the corner, nose to tail like that, and stay nose to tail through the exit of the corner and continue drafting past those guys. So they're putting on a show right there, even though they're back in about the 9th, 10th, and 11th place. So they're kind of working together to try to race their way forward to maybe catch the draft of the cars in front of them, because that's what they need to do if they want to have a shot at advancing their place and obviously have a shot at the win. But Slade Gravitt is part of the championship contending group, so Slade's got to kind of stay in contact here and be in that range of that 6 and up to advance into the next round.
And it's so close, and there's going to be pure desperation as the laps will wind down. 17 to go. You don't want to be in that bottom 2 like you had said, Rusty. And right now the top 4, as your championship contenders do run, is Brooks, Castro, Gritton now in 7th, and Gravitt in the 11th spot. And we'll take a look here at where everyone else is running in that championship. Tedeschi right now at the bottom there. I think Josh Harbin, BUTTAFUOCO in there as well. Everyone really shuffling around here. And it's such a good track here at Michigan because like these guys have said, this is the wild card racetrack. Someone like Mike Bross is running good here today, could be the upset of a win. And there's so much potential for all of this to go awry as these laps wind down.
Yeah, if a caution comes out as we've seen this season, anything could happen. It's just going to ramp up the intensity and the racing 3, 4, 5 wide. Could breed more cautions. But we saw at the back of the pack there, we might have had some issues with Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. I don't know if he sped on pit road. We might have to get an update from timing and scoring there. We are seeing a little bit of issues there on the technical side. But BUTTAFUOCO, heartbreak early on. He's going to need to yellow to get back up into the mix of this race because he could get eliminated if he continues to ride back there towards the end of the pack. Back, I believe it was 23rd position. So not a good day for Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. He's going to need some help because he was one of the guys we had circled as a championship contender, a championship favorite. I thought if he made it to Bristol, like we saw in practice, he could go out and straight up win Bristol, battle with the best. So he's going to need a lot of help. Just really unfortunate luck for Daniel BUTTAFUOCO right now.
Yeah, tough deal, like you said, being a championship contender all season long. And it's been so fun to see how these guys shine at certain racetracks. You see the ones that thrive at road courses, such as your Maxwell Castro, who is running well tonight. And if you joined us at the pre-race, we talked about it. Maxwell Castro took 5 days off of his regular job in order to prepare himself for tonight's championship finale, and it looks like it's paying off right now. But look at this little cluster here that we have. Mike Ross, Diego Alvarado, Corey ROTHGEB, Jose Ruiz, and Brandon Gritton leading up the tail of it. These guys nose to tail, really trying to work together to catch your leaders, and they are about 2 seconds behind your front runners. Brooks and Castro right now, Rusty, are holding a blistering pace as you ride along here with your leader of Justin Brooks. Can he maintain this pace?
I think Brooks can, and we talked about Maxwell Castro taking 5 days off to prepare for this. Well, he's taking these 5 days to be able to get up to speed and run with the Justin Brooks, and it's paying off for him. He's right on the bumper of one of our championship contenders. He's right where he wants to be, and all he needs to do is just stay in position, stay P2 towards the end of this race, and maybe he can kind of pull out and look to make a pass. But right now, the game plan is with these first two guys, just draft with each other and drive away from P3 and the entire field. And then especially don't wreck each other because we don't want that yellow coming out. But Maxwell Castro and Justin Brooks, they got this race right where they want it, and I think we're coming up on pit stops here pretty quickly, so it'll be interesting to see how the field coordinates pulling down pit road. So these guys that maybe didn't plan on pitting together, they got it, like based on their track position, they now got to come down together and work together. And we've already seen with the penalties, Kyle Arnold the lap down, BUTTAFUOCO off the pace. It just shows you how your race can go from a potential championship clinching situation to the next round into being eliminated. So very important moments coming up here.
And a handful of those drivers did come down pit road. TJ McGowan, Riley Ogle, Brandon Hanna, I believe, was one of them that did come down pit road as well. So a couple takers early on here, but we expect, like you said, the rest of the field to come down here shortly. This little group here running includes Josh Parker, who again was a winner throughout the season, had a pretty good hot streak there in the final segment, locking himself in. Unfortunately, did not have to try and lock in via that wild card race. And with him, again, you've got Slade Gravett, Joey Stone leading the efforts in that pack, looking for a good breakthrough run. Again, he's been so close, Rusty, but unable to seal that deal on not only the win, but locking in via a segment. And you know that he was frustrated with himself, but everyone knew he was there.
Yeah, Joey's been strong all year, led laps, in contention. Unfortunately, had some bad luck go against him, but that's part of racing. But right now, he's riding in P8, and I'm telling you, if we talk to him right now, he'd be really thrilled with this because he didn't get that much practice, and he made a trip up to the Caterpillar headquarters, and he's racing there live right now from Caterpillar. So hopefully sometime during the show, we can get a live look at Joey. Maybe he's in one of those big machines there driving the steering wheel with the monitor up in that. But yeah, Joey Stone definitely wants to close the season out on a strong note. He's had speed like we talked about, and we're seeing these drivers right now signal pit road. Josh Parker, Slade Gravett, Joe Gornett, looks like they're going to pull down pit road this time by.
Ooh, and a close call here is Parker now in the midst of a 3-wide scenario. Gravett on the inside of him, DOHAR on the outside of him, and they all will dive down pit road. A couple of them do stay out, but Stone, Gravett, ooh, a little contact there, but they all dive down pit road. A lot of takers, Brooks, Castro, Gritton, Bross, Alvarado, Tedeschi as well come down pit road. 9 laps to go. ROTHGEB now adheres the lead over DOHAR and Zader, Morris, and McGraw, your top 6. So majority of the field now down pit road. We expect these other 7 to probably come down this next lap, and that should cycle everyone through, Rusty, to once again have Brooks and Castro as our leader. And you see it there, Kyle Arnold in the 13, heavy damage for him. It's been a season of heartbreak for Kyle Arnold.
Yeah, you got to feel for Kyle Arnold. I picked him out as my potential race winner of this race, but this is just the story of his season. Just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Looks like he got a lot of contact. I don't know if it was part of the incident on the exit of pit row with Tedeschi, but you can see the damage is massive on the front of that car, and that just slows him down. And when you're out of the draft, you're losing even more time. So just a really, really unfortunate day for the driver of the 13. He's been, in my opinion, one of the strongest PlayStation 4 drivers, and I think he really wanted to come out here and show the world that he is the best. Oh, looks like we have some contact in the back of the pack with the 17. We might get a caution here, and this could change everything. We're green for right now, but the 17 was spinning in a multi-car incident on the backstretch. And the caution.
And there it is. There's that caution. Like you said, Rusty, this could change everything, and we'll see if we can get a replay of exactly what happened. But everyone just went down pit road not but a lap ago. How does this change things for these guys, Rusty?
well, some of these guys are going to hope they can take the wave around here, hope they can get back in the lead lap. They're going to have to play some strategy here, but the guys that are, I believe, in the top 9 are sitting perfect and pretty right now. I don't know how many championship contenders were part of that mix. It might have been some guys in the back of the pack, but let's take a look at the replay here. We see, it's a big one on the back stretch of Michigan. Everybody piles into that. I'm not sure what started it, but I think we did see the 7 start to spin, and when you're going that fast, there's not really a place to go. So drama late at Michigan.
Yeah, Joe Gornick involved in that one. Looked like Nick Job saw the Levine family gaming cars. I'm not sure which one that was involved. Tough break for a lot of these guys. You almost wish this would have happened maybe a little bit earlier on in the event, because the laps have now winded down. We've been green so far, but green flag is back in the air after that caution. Everyone now bunched up. A couple of guys back on the lead lap here getting that wave around. ROTHGEB, your leader. We see one down below the apron. Hopefully he gets back up on the racing surface. Brooks quickly to the tail end of ROTHGEB, looking to make that move on him. Slides back in line. DOHAR in the 3rd spot, though.
Yeah, they're working their way forward here. Justin Brooks is taking a peek to the inside. Big draft on the backstretch, sends it off into the bottom of turn 3. Maybe a little bit of contact with the 2, but that's okay. He's going to try to hug it and get a run off the exit. Justin Brooks was the leader before the caution. He's going to reassume the lead after the caution, but I'm curious if the intensity is going to really pick up on this lap. Guys that are trapped a lap down, they don't want to be a lap down, and I don't think they're going to give an inch. So coming to 3 to go here, look for a lot of contact, a lot of desperation, because these guys don't want to get eliminated in the first race tonight. We see Josh Parker maybe hit the apron, get up in and make contact. We see Slade Gravett working the bottom. We're going to see a really, I think, a fun run here for Matthew Selby. He's going to pull in. Looks like behind the 22, maybe give the 21 a little bit of push. But look at the draft work right here. Everybody's being protective on the bottom in front of those guys, because you got to kind of play defense with 3 to go. But Hannah, I'm shocked they survived that lap. I thought for sure, I would have bet anything that somebody was going to end up in the wall, but these drivers are keeping it clean. They're keeping it professional, and they are the pros of the Pro League. So coming to 2 to go, anything can happen.
Absolutely, and I'm just as surprised as you are, Rusty. I expected these guys to really just send it in there. A good run here as we ride along with one of the Stewart-Haas Esports driver of Matthew Selby, catching the rest of this pack. And you'd mentioned that caution really messing up some of these guys' races, but hey, it saved Daniel Buttafuoco's race. He was trapped. Ooh, contact with Joey Stone. Matthew Selby. Selby almost retaliates. He drives it in, gets into the side of Joey Stone. That was an aggressive and, if you ask me, slightly questionable move by Matthew Selby, Rusty.
You know, that was a highly questionable. Oh, there's a big one on the front stretch coming to maybe want to go. I don't know if they took the flag. This might be the end of the race, but yes, Matthew Selby, you saw him intentionally kind of get into Joey Stone on the entry into 3. A little bit of disagreement over space, but the race is still green. They're letting this thing race to the finish, it looks like.
Wow, in the final lap here at Michigan, Zader, now your leader. We talked about him getting this win. Justin Brooks in 2nd, Buttafuoco now in that 4th and 5th spot here. Coming to the checkered flag, the final race here at Michigan International Speedway, the first one of the 3 tonight here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. They'll come down the front chute, checkered flag will fly. Zader with the race win, but Justin Brooks, Buttafuoco, and Castro, your contenders here in the top 7. You can see Gritton there, comes home in the 12th spot, Gravett in the 14th spot, and we'll have to take a look at the final results here, Rusty, on unfortunately whose playoff run has ended tonight.
Yeah, 2 drivers are going to face some heartbreak here in a sec, but first I got to congratulate Louis Zader on his first win of the season. The rookie driver, he stepped up at Michigan in a championship finale event and beat Justin Brooks. So Louis Zader, congratulations on picking up your first career NASCAR Heat Pro League win.
And what a place to win at here in the championship finale, the final night of the season. You know, Louis probably wanted to get a win earlier on in the season, had a couple chances, had a couple contending races, but hey, if you're gonna win on championship night, because you've got the best of the best, you know, racing for this championship. And he showed up and said, hey, I'm here to stink up the show. I'm going to win the first race of the 3 for the evening. So keep an eye on me the rest of the season, or the rest of the evening, and put himself, like you had mentioned, Rusty, in a good position for next year. Because a lot of these guys, while they may not be racing for that championship, they're racing for their teams and their seed positions and when they're going to be able to pick for drivers, but they want to start having attention drawn to themselves to either be returned to their team or to put themselves in front of other teams for next season.
Yeah, we talked about how much speed that driver had all season long with qualifying up front, race up front, just couldn't get the finishes, but he finally put it together at Michigan. And I got to assume this driver is so hyped to end the season on a positive note with that amount of confidence to just show the whole world he has the ability to get it done against the best in the business in a championship environment. So congratulations again to Louis Zader and Ganassi Gaming.
And I think we'll have to watch him as we get ready to go racing here shortly from Phoenix. Justin Brooks, though, really the highest running contender, came home in second spot. And we saw him just a sigh of relief. But we've got a replay here quickly for the highlights of this race we'll have you take a look at. And again, tar break for two drivers and Rusty. But those wrecks that we saw about midway through the race and then at the tail end of it there, they happened at the back of the pack, which is something we usually don't see here at Michigan, some of our bigger tracks. Fortunately, our front running about 7 to 10 were okay. But it was these guys at the back that you said, they were making those moves of pure desperation to get those extra couple spots, whether it was a lock-in spot or ultimately just a point spot.
Yeah, when you're coming down to 1 to go in an elimination race, guys get really, really desperate. I'm interested to see what happened to the back-to-back. A lot of heartbreak for the two drivers, Tedeschi and Josh Parker. Josh Parker was one of the guys I had circled to win this championship. He had all the confidence, all the momentum. He has the sim racing background. I thought Josh Parker was going to be a threat to win this championship. So unfortunately, it's going to come to an end a little bit early, and I think the whole world plan. But I think he's still going to try to go out there and win at Phoenix, and I think he's really going to try to put on a show at Bristol.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tedeschi, who had locked in via one of the wild card races, Josh Parker, who locked himself in via a segment win, that third and final segment, pretty much locked it up going into that third race, was on a hot streak. So like you'd said, Rusty, I know he was carrying a lot of confidence into tonight's championship finale and things just really not playing out either of their ways. Tedeschi struggling the entire race during Michigan, and Parker, things just really not going his way. But take a look here at our race results again. We'll give you the full rundown on how everyone finished this evening here in Michigan. Louis Zader capturing that first win. Justin Brooks coming home in second. Good run there for Corey ROTHGEB, though, in that third spot. Pay attention to him at Phoenix. Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, though, rallying back with less than 10 to go, was one lap down, got the wave around, and really set the world back on fire. Coming home in fourth, Matthew Heel, Tyler DOHAR, and Maxwell Castro, another championship contender, in your top 7, Rusty.
Yeah, in these elimination style events, you're going to need some luck. We saw BUTTAFUOCO do that to advance. But with taking a look on page 2 here, Jordan McGraw brings it home in a strong P8 with Sam Morris. Mike Bross, Diego Alvarado, they wanted to finish higher than that. They ran better than that, but they got trapped a lap down there. You see with Diego. Brandon Grittner, defending champion, sneaks by. We talked about how he needed to get through Michigan to have a chance at the championship. That was his mindset. So that's all according to game plan with Brandon Grittner. And then P13, Brandon Hanna, and your other championship contender, Slade Gravett, in P14.
Yeah, that caution really messing with some of these guys' race plans. Josh Harbin, also one of those contenders in 15th. finishing just well enough here to go on to the next round. Matthew Selby, Jason Mitchell, Riley Ogo, Jose Ruiz, Casey Masser, your top 20 here. And then Joe Gornick, again involved in one of those incidents, comes home in the 21st spot.
And this is where we're going to see some heartbreak. TJ McGowan, Cody Giles, Nick Jobs, Joey Stone, you saw got taken out there late. But Brian Tedeschi and Josh Parker are the two championship eligible drivers that got eliminated today at Michigan, and then bringing home last, one of the best drivers in the league. Another heartbreak scenario for Kyle Arnold.
Yeah, man, a tough season for Kyle Arnold, to say the least. Again, he had so much speed on multiple occasions, almost won a couple of those road courses, was involved in a lot of incidents there as far as, the aggression, but pure frustration from that driver. It was one of those things where he just threw his hands up in the air and was like, I simply cannot win. I am at the mercy of bad luck right now. And again, like you said, it all just came to fruition tonight here at Michigan. But we're going to take a look at your championship bracket. Again, we had said that Josh Parker and Brian Tedeschi were eliminated. Take a look here at who's competing in race 2 as we get ready to go racing at Phoenix, Rusty.
Yeah, once again, all 28 drivers are going to stay on the racetrack and compete against each other going forward in this round at Phoenix and the next one at Bristol. So Josh Parker and Tedeschi will still be out there racing for some money, but we're taking a look here at Justin Brooks, BUTTAFUOCO, two of the best Xbox drivers. They advance. Castro, Gritton, they advance. Gravett and Harbin. The 6 remaining here might be 6 of the best drivers in the Pro League.
Yeah, absolutely. On both platforms, again, racing here on the PC platform. Needless to say, you're going to have to keep an eye on all of them, because when it comes down to Phoenix, I can't really think of any of those drivers that stand out as being extremely dominant probably here at Phoenix. I know they've been putting in the time and the effort. Justin Brooks, though, again, class of the field. I'm glad to see BUTTAFUOCO scrape into this second segment here, because when you get Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO together, they've been racing so hard all season long against each other. Then you throw a couple of the guys in from the other platform. It's only going to get more intense as we keep going in the evening, Rusty.
Yeah, this race at Phoenix is going to be pretty crazy. We saw last year, it was the championship finale. It came down to the last corner of the last lap. But these guys today at Phoenix, they have to be prepared. They have to hit their marks. And most importantly, they have to run their race. It's so easy to drive off into the corner, lose your mind, and maybe take a guy out, or more importantly, burn those tires. And you're going to be scrubbing a lot of speed, just losing the big picture mentality of this race. So I'm interested to see how a guy like Daniel BUTTAFUOCO is going to race. He rarely makes mistakes. But when you get 28 guys out there pressuring him, maybe it's finally that time for BUTTAFUOCO to make a mistake. But also, this might be the time for him to rise up and advance once again to get into that championship.
And you've seen it all season long. Our drivers sporting some great gear with Fanatec hooking them all up. But also for this race, ASUS stepped up to the plate. They hooked our drivers up, made this event possible, allowing all 28 of our drivers to compete on the PC platform. The only way we could allow everyone to compete on a even platform, Rusty. And it's been so cool to have them on board for such a prestigious event.
Yeah, thanks again to ASUS. They hooked up all the drivers with the PC, the monitor, the headset. And we got the Fanatec wheel and everything. But these guys, it's every driver's dream and every gamer's dream to drive the best equipment in the business. And they provided these guys with that. And they can do this and race from home. And with 28 guys on the track, they're going to need to have the best performance and that reliability to go out there and have that confidence to perform at the top level. But we have a competition or a contest over on social media that we're going to share here. So if you guys want to race the same stuff that these pros are racing, maybe it's a little bit upgraded with the ASUS stuff, but you can race the best at home and enter that contest here tonight live.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out on Facebook. You could end up with a cool setup from ASUS yourself. And while we're talking about it, take a look at our partner ASUS here and all the cool stuff that they have to offer. And it is time to go racing once again. This time we're going to Phoenix International Speedway or Raceway. And again, your drivers now all loaded in. They've had a moment to recollect themselves and get themselves ready to go racing. You've got BUTTAFUOCO. He's got the Geico Gecko there right in the center of your screen, getting ready to go. A couple of them, we're going to get Tyler DOHAR a light up in your top right-hand corner. But I will say, Rusty, these guys have improved throughout the season. A couple of them getting lights. I think Nick Jobs is eating popcorn. Am I correct?
And Nick Jones is getting the popcorn ready for this event at Phoenix. We saw Diego. I mean, he might be on Twitter, Instagram. He's on social media. He's having fun. But I just love this view into these drivers with everything on the line. They're still having fun. But some of these other guys, they're locked and loaded and ready to go, and they're focused.
Yeah, you love to see it. All the personalities really coming through here with some of our drivers, the focus, the excitement. I don't think Corey Rothgeb in the bottom left of your screen has blinked. I'm not sure if he's frozen or not, but pure focus on a couple of these drivers' faces. A lot of them with a lot on the line as we get ready to go racing shortly here in Phoenix. Take a look here, though. Again, we're under pace laps out in the desert. Quick little trip here. It's what I love about the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, Rusty, is we can go from Michigan to the West Coast in a matter of minutes. But that race details here in full, Rusty.
Yeah, those 3 laps are just the parade laps to get us to green. But yeah, 45 laps. So we're looking at about 25 laps on tires. So they're probably going to split this race in half, and that 3-time tire wear is going to play a huge factor. So they're going to have to manage that throughout the run at this 1-mile racetrack.
And we'll take a look at your grid here, your starting grid for the race at Phoenix. Your front row. Hey, does he look familiar? Because he's been on the front row most of the season. Justin Brooks on the inside row there. On the outside of him with the Levine Family Gaming. Jose Ruiz, good run for him. Championship contender on that front row.
And right behind him, we have another familiar face in Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. And on his outside, the race winner, Luis Zader. Congrats again.
And in row 3, 1 row back from them, a good row here with Corey Rothgeb, good run, and Kyle Arnold hoping to turn his luck around from Michigan with a good run here at Phoenix.
Now, row 4, we have a really strong championship contending round. Maxwell Castro, he was your segment 1 winner. Josh Harbin, he won the wild card at Daytona and a race at New Hampshire, so this guy is going to be competitive.
And row 5, Brandon Gritton and Josh Parker.
Row 6, Slade Gravett and Matthew Selby.
And in row 7, about halfway through the field here, Cody, Giles, and Mike Bross. But we're getting ready to go green here, Rusty. The rest of the field, again, will catch you up via the ticker. They come through that final corner. Green flag in the air at Phoenix. They fan out through the dogleg. Again, this is the relatively new configuration here at Phoenix International. Quickly, Jose Ruiz with the top spot. BUTTAFUOCO jumps to the front running position. Justin Brooks, though, now your leader as well. You see that second spot is the highest of the ticker at the moment. But Justin Brooks is your current leader. 45 laps to go. These guys not budging from the 2 wide. Now 3 wide. 4 wide at the back of the pack, Rusty.
This is insane. They carried over the urgency and the racing from Michigan right away in the lap 1 at Phoenix. I think they've realized the importance of track position here. They're not wasting any time. We saw as soon as that green flag flew, they fanned out 3-4 wide off into 1. They didn't even care if they made contact. But look at these guys put on a show. Maxwell Castro, Brandon Gritton there on the bottom, Slade Gravett right behind him. These guys are going from the start. I'm impressed with the aggressiveness early on.
And they will take advantage of the full side of the racetrack. And let me tell you, I've raced here at Phoenix International Raceway. When you go down below that apron in the dogleg, you get down on that apron, the transition of going down there and then back up onto the racetrack can be a difficult one. You have to make sure you execute it well, because you can't see who's all the way up on the top of the racetrack, didn't go down below the apron. So these guys have to be careful when it comes to clearing themselves, because if you go down on the apron, you can be in a 4 wide situation and not even realize it. But everyone so far doing well. They've practiced this all season long. Slade Gravett, you see him here racing with Kyle Arnold, trying to make a move to the front here. Josh Harbin right alongside them, trying to move forward as well. That's your 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Gravett peeks to the inside of Kyle Arnold, now has the position. Harbin right there in the catbird seat as far as being in the 10th spot. Ooh, little contact between them. This is the perfect racetrack, Rusty, to ride the line of having to be aggressive, but also knowing you're carrying enough speed that you have to be smart.
Yeah, we're getting a full-on display right there. We're about 3 wide right there with Slade Gravett, Josh Harbin, and Kyle Arnold. But it's so fun to watch this at Phoenix. The fast way around is kind of that middle lane up there through 1 and 2, and you want to be right down the bottom through 3 and 4. But it's always kind of a game of chicken. If you're on the inside, you definitely want to send it a little bit lower, a little bit deeper than the guy on your outside. So we saw that the guys actually be able to continue down the eggs of the core and still be side by side. So that's a lot of fun. I know they probably don't want to be side by side, but as a viewer, I love this. We see with Slade and Josh Harbin, they're the 2 championship contenders going to battle right now. This is good racing. They're like, they don't want to get single file apparently, but this Josh Hart mixes the corner just a little bit. See Josh Parker get knocked up in the wall. Let's see if he can keep it clean, but they're 4 wide through the dogleg. And I wanted to add to your comment about the dogleg. Not only does it save a little bit of time, and it is kind of a rough transition, but it looks really, really cool. So it's fun to whip it down there and just fly down there. When you pull it back up on the that turn 1 banking, looks like we got a caution, but you got to get that thing up into turn 1 and get thing in position to hit your apex down into 1. But yeah, this caution early is going to be, I think, a sign of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple drivers involved there, and we'll try and see if we can see what was the cause of that caution. Maxwell Castro, though, you see in front of you again, good run in that first race, one of your championship contenders, looking to make his way through, and has fully committed himself with that Chip Ganassi Gaming to contend for this championship. His teammate had just won at Michigan, if you were able to join us earlier on in the show, and he's looking to back that up here at Phoenix this evening. All of these drivers currently being relatively smart at Phoenix early on in the race. Still a long race to go, and we'll double file them again here. And this is for you. I'll let you call this one, Rusty, because you love the dog leg, as you just said, and watching them fan out.
And we talked about running your own race coming into this race, but these guys have a sense of urgency, and they're already looking to go 3 wide down the front stretch off into turn 1. Look at Corey on the bottom there, but Joseph Brooks sends it a little bit deep, makes contact with Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. That's okay. That's just racing here at Phoenix. Just a little kiss. That's perfect. We see Luis Zader making the high side work. Let's see if he can sneak down to the bottom here, tucking behind these guys. But look at the battle for the lead between these 2 championship contenders. We're right on board with Josh Harbin and Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, but BUTTAFUOCO is right there behind Brooks for the lead. This racing, I believe, has exceeded all expectations at Phoenix. These drivers thought it was going to be a single file deal, just kind of get in line and hopefully you're in position late. But these guys are 2, 3 wide throughout the entire field. But right now they're chasing Justin Brooks, kind of like what we just saw in Michigan. This might be the theme for tonight. But BUTTAFUOCO is right there putting pressure on him for the lead.
And multiple grooves tonight available for racing here at Phoenix. These guys are able to be competitive on the outside groove. Really no big draft is into play at the moment. BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks breaking away from the rest of the field. 3 wide, though, with ROTHGEB, Gritton, and Zader, as you can see, for that 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. Ooh, a couple of bobs and weaves from them. I absolutely love Phoenix. I mean, it provides great racing. It provides elbows up while still being a high-speed racetrack, and the configuration a little bit different as well, going through the dogleg down across the apron. Josh Harbin making moves up to that 4th spot, able to get past Slade Gravett. Gravett still trekking right on his tail. He wants the spot. He'll look back and forth to the inside. He's almost tracking him. Slade Gravett, Rusty, for being one of our youngest drivers here in the Pro League, is one of the most calculated and smart drivers we've seen in the Pro League, and how he races and how he approaches making a pass with some of his other competitors.
Yeah, we talked to Slade Gravett about this heading into the championship event. Slade is one of the guys that's going to race you with the utmost respect, give you room, and I mean, he'll race you how you race him, but he's always going to show respect. We saw him maybe give up a couple wins early in the year, just playing kind of that big picture mentality. He's showing respect, as we see right here on the bottom of Josh Harbin. Slade is that guy who's just been safe and consistent all season long, not making any enemies, no rivals, and I thought, in my mind, that's what you want to have coming into a championship event, so you can cash in all those tickets from all those guys you gave room to, so when they see you racing next to him during this event, they're going to give you that room. So Slade, we talked about, he's cashing in those tickets here at Phoenix, and maybe hopefully advance his way into Bristol, where he's going to need some help.
There's a couple guys in the field that are going to be getting those tickets taken away from them. We've seen some pretty aggressive moves throughout the season, some questionable moves, some penalties that have been assessed throughout the season as well by our ruling board, saying, hey, that just was not in the code of conduct, the ethics of being on the racetrack. And so a couple guys probably looking for some payback, and I would not want to be on the receiving end of that at the final race of Bristol. Brandon Gritton, though, up to that 3rd spot, trying to track down BUTTAFUOCO, who has Corey ROTHGEB in tow behind him. They'll try and catch your front runners of BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks. Gritton with a good run here so far this evening, and carrying a lot of speed, Rusty, with the help of Corey ROTHGEB. If they don't spend too much time trying to race each other, could catch our leaders of BUTTAFUOCO and Gritton.
Yeah, we're seeing Gritton kind of run the high line there through 1 and 2. He's playing a defensive line there. He sent it down there on the bottom. He knows maybe Corey's faster, but he's doing everything he can to keep him behind him. And that's just the style for the driver of the 14. He's going to do everything he can to work his way forward and maybe keep the guys back behind him. So that's just the style of the 14. You got either you love it or you hate it. As we see Corey ROTHGEB right there giving a little bit of payback. And he said, hey, baby, it's time to go. Get out of my way. So that's what happens when you kind of play a little bit of defense and slow up the field behind you, because these guys are trying to win races and work their way up to the top 3. But keep an eye on Brandon Gritton. I think we saw a little bit of contact with Josh Harbin, that inside wall as well. This could be a factor in the championship clinching scenario as we go forward.
And your top 5 currently running within the top 7. Like you said, everyone playing it somewhat safe at the moment. 26 laps to go here at Phoenix. We're going to get within a pit window soon, and we saw it shake things up at Michigan. Has the potential to do so again tonight, Rusty. If things don't fall away, we see a caution come out at the wrong time, this could mess up someone's championship evening, especially with how close everyone's running at the moment.
Yeah, when you're running this close at Phoenix, all you gotta do is make a little bit of contact and they're gonna go flying into the wall. Oh, as we see a contact with Joey Stone in the back of the pack, kind of right on cue. Maybe he's gonna get this thing righted. I don't know if they're gonna throw a yellow here, but we did see the Caterpillar car go around there in the exit of turn 2. They're still racing fast. Look, they're still battling for position here, and this is a really competitive section on the track. These drivers that are 4th through 7th are right on top of each other. These championship contenders. Brandon Gritton, we talked about, he was kind of slowing up ROTHGEB. ROTHGEB moving up out of the way, but this caution comes out, and now they're going to come down pit road and put 4 tires on it, and it's going to be a battle to the end.
Wow, that caution coming out. We did see a couple guys come down pit road. This could be detrimental for them, trapping them that 1 lap down. And correction, I apologize. We were watching the battle for the elimination round. Again, Justin Brooks wasn't shown on that ticker, so your entirety of the top 8 drivers, or 6 drivers, were in the top 7 for running position. So a matter of 1 spot could be the defining moment of transferring on to the final race at Bristol. And no one wants to have that target on your back, Rusty. I've been to my fair share of late model races and short track races where it is an elimination process. You go to a last chance race or a qualifier, and no one wants to be the transfer spot. It's almost like you sign up for a target on your back, green flag in the air once again, and the target now being shifted amongst these drivers is that elimination spot continues to swap between Slade Gravett and Maxwell Castro.
Yeah, that target is going to change corner by corner, lap by lap, especially as the desperation increases, because these drivers are not going to come down pit road for the rest of the race. They're planning to go green the rest of the way, so they're trying to get everything they can get, especially the guys battling in that transfer spot. We see Josh Harbin, Slade Gravett, and Castro, but keep an eye on a guy like Gritton. He's got to stay ahead of those guys, because Josh Harbin has a little bit of rivalry with the 14, so if the 95 can get to the 14, you know he's going to do what he needs to try to get by him. But this is a really epic battle heating up here with 19 to go. And the thing I think about, you have to, we might have contact in the back of the pack. I don't know if that was Cody Giles, but yes, another caution comes out. Holy cow, this is just going to keep ramping up, I think, the rest of the way. But I wanted to point out, if you remember years back, I believe it was 2014, Ryan Newman did what he had to do to get past Kyle Larson to get to that transfer spot. We might see a similar thing here tonight when you have to get by that guy to transfer to the main event in the championship finale at Bristol.
Absolutely, Rusty. And desperation will make someone do some crazy things, especially when the laps continue to wind down and it is $30,000 on the line. You have to finish in the top 4. This isn't a matter of finishing, in the top 10. It's a matter of one person in front of you that could be your opportunity to race for $30,000, or if you are eliminated from our final 4 that will go on to race at Bristol. I have to say, I would not want to be in the shoes of that transfer spot, because the nerves that you're experiencing, Rusty, while trying to have to keep a steady mind, keep steady hands as they race in the final laps, it's all pressure on as green flag's back in the air. And again, that transfer spot will be heated up the entirety of this race.
Yeah, keep an eye on Josh Harbin right there. It looks like his teammate Jose Ruiz might be right behind him there. So you got a little bit of help from the teammate there, but they're going to press forward and put the pressure on. But BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks, they're side-by-side leading this thing. We've been talking about all year. Those two are doing the thing, so hopefully they can kind of keep it clean and not eliminate each other, put one in the wall, and maybe eliminate one, unless that is part of the game plan. I don't think it is, because they really respect each other, but it's something to keep an eye on, because a little bit of nose, a little bit of contact could get them out of the racing groove, and these guys are going to pounce and be on the top of one another and take advantage of it. So we got a front row seat with Maxwell Castro. He's going to have to really work his way forward here. I believe he came down and took 4 tires that time by. He's got a lot of work to do with 14 to go.
But with 14 laps to go and the aggressiveness of some of the guys that are in front of him, wouldn't be surprised if we see a potential caution. But Castro in that position where he may have to avoid that caution. If someone wrecks in front of him, he'll pick off those positions. But man, to be collected in that could be the end of the run for that Ganassi Gaming driver, the gear wrench #1. He's on the outside. Little contact maybe with the wall. Close call as he'll try and stay to the outside of Joey Stone. He's gauging everyone in front of him, waiting for a line to move, but he's kind of stuck right now, Rusty, because he's got 4 drivers in front of him, including Joey Stone, Diego Alvarado, running side by side. Really nowhere to go unless he attempts a 3-wide situation.
Yeah, it sounds like he did come down on pit road to take 4 tires, so he's trying to do something different than the guys in front of him. He's hoping to have a little bit extra grip on those tires to maybe make some passes, because if you're out of the championship hunt, maybe you got to do something a little bit different. But that loss of track position is so huge here at Phoenix. We talked about it. You got to be, you see how competitive it is up there. You can't lose that track position. But yeah, those 4 tires have to work for him this late in the game. We see Josh Harbin maybe make a little bit of contact right here, but keep an eye as we work our way towards the end of this race. The top 4 advance to Bristol.
Wow, little bump and run there by Josh Harbin. Drove it in a little bit, gave Slade Gravitt a little nudge, and then took that bottom groove and said, hey, I need to be in this spot. This is that transfer spot. Now in the 5th position, he's got to make another one up, I believe, to be able to transfer in, or he should be in here in that 5th running spot right now. Again, Brooks, Gritton, BUTTAFUOCO, Harbin currently in the running spot to go to Bristol.
Oh.
We may have another caution out here. There it is, caution once again at Phoenix. Man, Rusty, to line up here side by side, you know Slade is frustrated right now.
We talked about how Slade isn't that aggressive of a driver. We saw him maybe taking advantage right there by the Bear, so he might pay Bear back right here. We saw the Bear maybe pulling away, so I think Slade likes to see this yellow, but the rest of the competition, especially our leaders, really do not. This is going to be an insane finish. We're probably looking at 5 laps to go here at Phoenix for an opportunity to advance into the championship finale.
Oof, and things are going to heat up from here on out. Heating up out in the desert of Phoenix International Speedway, or Raceway. We see the Caterpillar on the background again. Joey Stone racing from Caterpillar headquarters. So cool that they were able to race on, he was able to race on location for his sponsor at RCR. And we're getting ready to go green once again. Green flag will be in the air. Everyone fanning out per usual here in the dog leg. So far, so good. No, 3-wide move by Castro to the bottom there of Tedeschi and Matthew Heel, trying to pick off those positions. Now 6 laps to go. His time is running out. Ooh, contact. Couple drivers. Look like that may have been Kyle Arnold. Ooh, they're bouncing off of each other. This is not good. Everyone holding on to it so far. 4 and 5 wide, Rusty.
Oh. Well, Kyle Arnold, it appeared, stayed out on old tires, and that changed the entire dynamic of the race. Everybody was trying to go 3-4 wide around him. It just stacked up really quickly, a lot of contact. Nobody's really lifting. So I don't know if Kyle Arnold accidentally missed the entry to pit road and stayed out there, but that put our championship contenders in a really challenging position. I'm interested to see where they re-rack and stack within proximity to the other contenders, because that really, you saw them fan out. You saw a lot of guys get into that. So that might have changed the clinching scenario in that cutoff position on the racetrack.
And Kyle Arnold, like you said, hadn't taken tires since lap 28. So to start up at the front of the field there like that with everyone else on those new tires, it was only a matter of survival, and clearly the survival was not faring well for Kyle Arnold. Quickly got eaten up and in a bad position there, and that's what caused that. So everyone else here re-racked should be on relatively new tires. I would assume Kyle Arnold now has come down pit road. So we'll have to see here when we get going green where everyone stacks back up as the green flag in the air once again. Going to be a shootout for the most part for these drivers. Everyone quickly 3 wide. Selby takes the 95 of Ruiz 3 wide in front of him. Brooks still your leader, BUTTAFUOCO, Gritton, Gravitt, Harbin swapping back and forth, Rusty.
Yeah, that is the championship cutoff spot right there. We're coming to 1 to go with Josh Harbin and SHRE, and everything is on the line right now between these two drivers, and we see them maybe make a little bit of contact. Let's see if SHRE's gonna send it underneath Josh coming into turn one, but he's staying to the high side.
Man, if you're Matthew Heel right now in that position, you hate to say it, but stay out of it. This is for a championship spot. Ooh, Josh Harbin with a block move on Slade Gravett. Goes high, goes low. Gravett with a run on the outside. Josh Harbin has that preferred line, though. It is the final lap here. Who will lock in? Josh Harbin with that spot, the finish. Justin Brooks, your winner. Gritton, BUTTAFUOCO, and Harbin in that fourth and final transfer spot. Heel barely just getting Gravett there at the tail end of the race, Rusty.
Oh, you see the emotion out of Brooks escaping that one possibly, but the drama between Gravett and Harbin is the transfer spot. Harbin played a lot of defense with 1 to go. He blocked the bottom. He made Slade go to the outside, and that's not really a spot you want to be. But holy cow, heartbreak there for Slade Gravett. Just that's what happens when these elimination cell races happen with all these cautions, mixing up the running order. But holy cow, what a race. That was probably one of the most competitive races I've ever seen at Phoenix, with the 2 and 3 wide passing throughout the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And from an entertainment standpoint, we couldn't have asked for anything more there. I mean, that race for the transfer spot coming down to the last lap, really, you don't even know who transferred in until that ticker showed us and confirmed that it was Harbin, because I will give Harbin credit here. He pulled a veteran move there. He knew that bottom groove was the preferred line, and he was going to make Slade work that top groove, and Matthew Heel just sitting there waiting for something to happen between these two championship contenders, because if it's going to happen between anyone, it's going to happen for an opportunity to race in the championship finale. But tough break for Slade Gravett. He's shown once again why he was one of the first draft picks in the inaugural season and why he was invited back here for the second season with Wood Brothers Gaming. Looking forward to more than likely watching him race once again next season long, but unfortunately for Slade, again, his championship hopes have ended here tonight at Phoenix.
Yeah, Slade's definitely a guy that's going to be part of this league for a very long time. But Josh Harbin, you talked about the veteran skills, the veteran experience. He showed a similar ability at Daytona. He just pulled out all those old tricks to be able to survive and advance, and he did exactly what he had to do to get to Bristol. So credit to Josh Harbin, the Bear, for putting on a performance to get into this event.
And while we wait for these drivers to get ready for that final race at Bristol, take a look here at the highlights here from Phoenix. And we now will get ready to go racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. We watched it there. Little animosity, I think, between some of these drivers starting to form, Rusty. And now it's all going to go into play here as we get ready to go into Bristol. Brooks, though, has been the class of the field once again, finished second here at Michigan, now wins here at Phoenix. Is it safe to call him the sturdy bet here at Bristol? Because we talked to Brandon Gritton, and he straight up told us, hey, Bristol's my racetrack. It fits my driving style. If I can make it through the first two, I'm going to be tough to beat. But then someone like Josh Harbin is good on these short tracks as well. It's really tough, and there's a reason I think our final four are where they are. But then throw 28 other drivers at Bristol. Who knows?
This is going to be insane, and these championship 4 drivers are going to need a lot of luck, but I think we have the 4 best drivers in the field. Justin Brooks, Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, Josh Harbin, and defending champion Brandon Gritton. You said Brandon Gritton, all he needed to do was get to Bristol. He talked to Tony. He told Tony Stewart he just needed to get here, and he's going to win this race and bring the trophy home. That confidence is unbelievable. So a lot riding on that driver, the defending champ in the 4 team, but I got my eye on Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. He rarely makes mistakes. He haven't made a mistake at Phoenix. He survived that, but he could be tough to beat at Bristol.
Absolutely. And let's take a look here at how everyone did come home from in those race results. Your winner once again was Justin Brooks. Brandon Gritton with that second spot. BUTTAFUOCO, again, those top 3 will transfer on to Bristol. Corey ROTHGEB coming home in 4th. Another good run by that Team Penske esports driver, Josh HARBIN. That final transfer spot comes home in 5th place. Matthew Heel right there, and Slade Gravid. Unfortunately, his championship contention night is over, coming home in 7th.
And in P8, we got Diego Alvarado with another strong run. Tedeschi, one of your contenders that was eliminated earlier tonight. Matthew Selby, Jose Ruiz, Luis Zader hanging out there. He won Michigan. Decent run here at Phoenix. But Josh Parker, another contender, finishes P13. And TJ McGowan backs it up in 14th.
And looking at a little farther back in the field in the running order on how they came home, a couple of those drivers unfortunately involved in a couple of the wrecks that did take place, getting trapped some laps down. It's a tough break for some of them at Phoenix, such as Mike Bross, again, with a good run at Michigan. Casey Master, Joey Stone as well, one of them. Castro, again, was one of our championship contenders. Unfortunately, not moving on to Bristol.
Yeah, the 4-tire strategy did not work out for that driver. I thought he had potential to get to the championship race. He has the ability to race at any event. So disappointment for Castro, I believe, but he's closed the season strong.
Kyle Arnold in that 24th spot. Tyler DOHAR, again, was pretty strong at Michigan, not his night tonight at Phoenix. And Jason Mitchell, unfortunately, coming home with a DNF spot at the tail end of the field. Tough break for a lot of these guys. We're going to take a look here in just a moment, though, at that championship bracket on how everyone will advance forward. Some of these guys looking to rebound, though, at Bristol. Could be a dark horse winner, one of our drivers that is not in the championship, because, you know, we saw Luis Zader do it at Michigan, then Justin Brooks here at Phoenix, but it's anyone's game at Bristol.
Yeah, we saw with these non-championship contenders, they're not afraid to mix it up with the guys. So maybe somebody wants to close this season out on a really strong note and leave a message for everybody watching around the world. So keep an eye on the guys that aren't part of the championship to play a factor into this championship. But I don't know, the championship four are the best, and they're here for a reason.
And once again, let's take a look at that bracket on who is moving forward. Last time we'll really show you this. Next time we show you it, hey, we'll have a eNASCAR Heat Pro League champion here in the second season for 2020, Rusty. Those 4 drivers looking good, but only one will come out that champion.
Yeah, once again, if you guys are just tuning in, all 28 guys are still going to share the track. All the championship contenders will still be out there. So it's the full field, and these 4 championship contenders got to compete with the whole field at Bristol. This is going to be wild.
It absolutely is. And Brandon Gritton, so good as well at these short tracks. We talked to him. Justin Brooks, so competitive. Daniel Buttafuoco, throw him in there. And then Josh HARBIN, who I'm a little biased towards, has always shown so much personality and is almost the good old Alabama boy that's looking to get the win this evening. But we couldn't have had the eNASCAR Heat Pro League season without some of our partners that have made this possible. Obviously, some different circumstances and situations throughout the year that have put us in this position, but we've been fortunate to be able to bring our fans and drivers racing action throughout the entire season. So take a look at some of the people that made it happen this season, including Fanatec.
Hi, I'm JJ Ailey, driver of the number 27 Rick Ware Racing Xbox NASCAR Heat 5 car today. I want to thank everyone for joining us today and want to wish all of the eNASCAR Pro Heat Championship guys good luck to you. This $70,000 payday coming up, phenomenal. So good luck to you guys. Enjoy the race.
There they are, your final 4 getting ready to go race for the championship. Justin Brooks, Brandon Gritton, looking like he doesn't have a care in the world, fixing something here in a moment. Justin Brooks with some dance moves. What do you think he's listening to, Rusty? He's clearly got some hype music on. I'm guessing it's not Taylor Swift or anything like that. Is he saying shake it off?
He's probably putting anything in his ears to not listen to Brandon Gritton or Josh HARBIN talk trash and get in his head. You see Lucky Dog just kind of hanging out there, just being focused. But you said Brandon Gritton, you wouldn't even know he's out there for a championship at Bristol. He's just hanging out, having fun. Look at him. That's going to be a guy to watch. But Josh HARBIN, he's so clutch, and he always finds his way up front. This is going to be an incredible championship battle with 4 of the best drivers in the world.
Pace laps underway here, folks, for the championship race at Bristol. 80 laps in total. We're going to give you 5 pace laps. Again, full damage, 3 times the tire wear on this tight, high-banked, last great Coliseum of Bristol Motor Speedway. Take a look at your starting grid here.
We're going to take a look at row 1 here with Luis Zader and Daniel BUTTAFUOCO.
And in row 2, again, your championship contender of Justin Brooks. The first time he hasn't started on the front row with Josh Parker.
And in row 3, this is where Brandon Gritton, here defending champion, is going to try to win this championship with Joe Gornick on his outside.
And in row 4, right behind them, Kyle Arnold and Brandon Hanna.
Now row 5, Maxwell Castro and Diego Alvarado, and it sounds like we're coming to green shortly.
Again, quick pace laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Row 6 with Jose Ruiz and Matthew Selby. We're going to tighten the field up, get ready to send them green. Jordan McGraw, Josh Harbin in row 7. They will keep the field tight for row 8. Mike Bross and Tyler Dohar, Rusty.
In row 9, we're going to take a look here at Riley Ogle and Slade Gravett, the guy that was just eliminated at Phoenix.
And in row 10, Corey Rothgeb, Joey Stone.
In row 11, Casey Masser and Brian Tedeschi.
A little bit farther back, row 12, TJ McGowan, Nick Jobs. And Rusty, the rest of the field tailing along there. We'll catch up with them on the backstretch here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I love it, a virtual full field, a full Coliseum of fans ready to crown a champion here. Green flag in the air at Bristol Motor Speedway, the final race here of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League 2020 season. Your front row quickly, BUTTAFUOCO makes contact with that outside wall. Brooks makes contact with BUTTAFUOCO. Josh Parker right there with them, but a quick lead for your leader.
And we see Brooks pull down into P2 right in front of BUTTAFUOCO. Looks like we might have a yellow here on the racetrack. We'll take a look, getting some communication here from the broadcast, but we'll update you guys here momentarily. Might have had a quick yellow with the drivers in the back. That's what happens at Bristol, but we'll re-rack them and stack them here shortly.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of the drivers, again, detached from the front of the pack. Could have been a quick yellow there. Everyone instantly bouncing off of each other. This is a little bit of a longer race, Rusty. Again, it is a half mile, so quite a bit shorter, of course, than the 1 mile of Phoenix and of Michigan. But those laps, although higher in number, will go just as quickly. These guys get around it pretty fast. But this is not a forgiving racetrack, Rusty. The high banks, and then it flattens out on the front stretch and the back stretch. There's an inside retaining wall and an outside retaining wall. There's nowhere for these guys to go if they mess up.
Yeah, this place might seem easy, but it's anything but, especially at the exit of the corners. That might be a storyline today. The exit of 2 and the exit of 4 are pretty treacherous. You can get some wheel spin and hook that car and take out the field. So this guy's got to be watchful of that and mindful going forward.
Well, only 4 laps in the book for that first caution. Luis Zader quickly to the front. Justin Brooks putting up the battle, really working that high groove, trying to make it happen. Zader, though, with the preferred spot at the moment, holding the lead position, but Justin Brooks not making it easy for him. We'll try and get that to work. You can see there, Brandon Gritton following Justin Brooks on the outside, now on the outside of Luis Zader. They're making this top groove work, Rusty, as BUTTAFUOCO now tries to follow Brandon Gritton behind him. Luis Zader, oddly enough, is getting trapped on the bottom here at Bristol.
Yeah, the high side is definitely the spot you want to be. You kind of send it off there high and through turn 1. We're watching them right on board. You kind of coast up a little bit right here, and you punch right back in the gas to get a run down the backstretch here. So you definitely want to be in the high side. You can make the bottom work, because some of these guys even come with a setup that's meant to make the bottom work, because if everybody's running up high, you kind of got to figure out a place that they're not to make passes. So Luis Zader maybe had a little bit of a setup for the bottom. He was on the pole with an incredibly fast car. But the top 3 are Brooks, Gritton, and BUTTAFUOCO. Josh Harbin's got some work to do back in P8. Don't count him out. He's going to get that high line work, and he's going to find that speed. His car is going to come to him, and he's going to be there at the end.
Riding along with Luis Zader in the Credit 1 Ganassi Gaming entry, again, who had just won Michigan. Good run so far tonight, having started on the front row in that 4th spot. Caution is out. 71 laps to go. We already had 2 cautions in the books in the first 10 laps here at Bristol. This could make fuel mileage a very difficult thing to calculate for these guys if the cautions continue to fly. Rusty, going back to it here, what are you expecting fuel mileage to look like here at this half mile with 80 laps in total?
I think these guys can go about 60 laps, so this is going to put them a little bit beyond that. But the tire wear is a little bit of a factor here today, but it's just the fuel. Once you get in that window, you want the track position, you want to top off when you can, just so that whenever that next hill comes out, you come down and top off, and so you're in position to be the, like, I got to back this up. You want to put yourself in position to win this thing, and getting the right amount of fuel at the right time is going to put you in position to win this. So right now, they're right at the exit of that, but they're closing in, especially if that yellow comes out, like we've been seeing. These quick yellows keep on flying.
Well, we've got a shakeup here in your front row, so obviously a handful of takers. Green flag is in the air once again here at Bristol. That front row now has been shaken up with the assumption of how people came down pit road. Brandon Gritton on the front. Whoa, Kyle Arnold got the shove all the way down below the apron. Wow, quickly slipping back. Unfortunate for that driver for Germain Gaming, will slip back outside of the top 10. Brandon Gritton now your leader. I believe Justin Brooks right there in that 4th spot as you ride along with him. Louis Zader right behind him, BUTTAFUOCO in the 2nd spot. Your top 4 currently all in the 6th. Josh Harbin being outside of the farthest of them in that 6th spot. Will have to work his way up, but hey, he's not far out of it. Again, we're riding along with Justin Brooks in the 4th spot. You can see Josh Harbin. A lot of laps still left to go. 65 left. Ooh, with the move, Justin Brooks to the inside of Matthew Selby in the 4th spot. So Selby will slip one back. Brooks now up to the 3rd. Brings Zader with him, Rusty.
Yeah, business is picking up when Brooks is working his way forward to battle BUTTAFUOCO and Gritton for the lead. Once again, this is the championship finale event. The winner of this event, or the guy that finishes above everybody else, just like real life NASCAR, that's going to be your champion. So Brandon Gritton right now is in the perfect position out front leading this race, and this is exactly where he said he would be. Look at him, he's sending off there on the high line and down in 1 and 2. It's a little bit of a defensive strategy because it's tough to make the pass work in the bottom, but Gritton is putting the car in that perfect spot. He just gonna hit his marks, but BUTTAFUOCO, you see him, he rarely makes mistakes, and he's gonna put that pressure on him to hopefully maybe get next to him and maybe he might have to make a little contact, get by him, because this is Bristol, baby. So let's see if BUTTAFUOCO will use the bumper for the first time all season and maybe take the lead away from our championship contender.
Hey, anything to win that $30,000. And Rusty, we were talking about how these guys like talking a little bit of smack to each other, and we talked to Brandon Gritton, and Brandon Gritton said he's got a little bit of added pressure because he's the reigning champion. He won the championship last season with his teammate in 2019, and this season is a little bit different because they're getting the opportunity to race as individual drivers. So all the other drivers have told Brandon Gritton, hey, you're a great team champion because it took 2 of you to win a championship, and hey, this year it's all on your own shoulders to win the championship. And Brandon said, hey, that doesn't bother me. That's just added motivation to prove that I can only win a championship not only as a team, but also for myself and Stewart-Haas Esports. And he's proving that right now, currently with the lead. BUTTAFUOCO still trying to make that move. Again, riding with your 2nd place runner of BUTTAFUOCO. He's hot on his tracks, Rusty. I think we could see tonight be the night that BUTTAFUOCO decides to use the elbows and, hey, maybe gives Brandon Gritton a little bit of his own medicine.
Yeah, BUTTAFUOCO says he doesn't like to use the bumper, and he probably will not try to use it. But he referenced iRacing, other sim racing events where he liked how the guys raced respectfully and clean coming down to the last corner, last lap, and it just came out to just raw racing with no contact. But when you're racing a guy like Brandon Gritton, a guy that likes to make contact, and with Rubbins Racing, you might have to move him up out of the way to make sure he doesn't get you back. Do like a bump and run, Jeff Gordon style, Rusty Wallace. You're gonna have to make sure when you pass Brandon Gritton, he cannot get back to your bumper because he will do whatever it takes to get back by you.
Yeah, absolutely. And retaliation could be huge. Gritton still with your lead, BUTTAFUOCO still there, and you would not want to make that move and have someone be able to get to your back bumper. So patience is now the name of the game. With 53 laps to go here at the last Great Coliseum, Justin Brooks trying to reel in your top 2. Josh Harbin again still in that 5th spot with Louis Zader between himself and Justin Brooks. Good run here for Zader once again. Had bobble there. Caution is out on the racetrack. For a moment there, I thought Gritton maybe had a little bit of a slip up and BUTTAFUOCO was going to take advantage of that, but we do have another caution. We almost expected this, Rusty, at a tight racetrack like this with 28 drivers all on the track.
Yeah, cautions breed caution, especially when the intensity is up, the urgency is up. But this is the perfect point in the race for these guys to come down top off on fuel, take their tires for the last time tonight, probably the last time tonight, because they're going to try to keep that track position. So this is at a perfect window for them. So even though we've had some yellows early, maybe this thing will just turn into just raw, real racing towards the end for the rest of the way in gold green. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
I agree. I think, with our top four all in the top, and look at the actual Colossus. I love it. You can see it in the center of the racetrack there, floating above Bristol Motor Speedway, and the race being broadcast on there for all of our fans here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So your front row set here once again. Looks like there was a little bit of a shakeup. No, Brandon Gritton and BUTTAFUOCO still your front row. This is BUTTAFUOCO's opportunity here. He's got that preferred high line. He's got Gritton on the bottom pin. He needs to take advantage of it, get a good run. Ooh, Brooks wants in the middle of it though. Almost a little bit of a tap maybe there to one of their back bumpers saying, hey, I'm here. Move or be moved. Justin Brooks, while he's been a standout of the field, is a little less apprehensive when it comes to using the bumper because he knows what it takes and he's smart about it, Rusty. He's a very calculated driver, and he'll watch here as BUTTAFUOCO and Gritton still side by side for that front position. Ooh.
Yeah, he's sitting there right behind those two guys, waiting for someone to make a mistake, and it looks like BUTTAFUOCO might have got up into the wall. So Justin Brooks takes advantage of that. But when those two are racing side by side, literally anything can happen. But Brandon Gritton, that was such a monumental point in the race for him to recapture the lead. Whoever got the lead between those two drivers was probably going to be, definitely going to be the hardest guy to pass on the racetrack because he's going to make his car extra wide. But Brandon Gritton is back out front in front of Justin Brooks and Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. I'm curious to see what Brooks has for Gritton. Oh, it sounds like another caution came out, but Brooks didn't appear to have much of a long run car. He kind of faded a little bit back from BUTTAFUOCO and Gritton. So it would be fun to see maybe put a little bit of adjustment into the car, maybe see if he has something for Gritton. But they're going to re-rack him here, and I think BUTTAFUOCO will be on the back bumper, Gritton on the bottom lane here, heading off into turn one. But we talked about it. That bottom lane is not really a spot you want to be, but you can kind of use the guy up. You can kind of take advantage of him. You can send it down in there, slide up. You can do a little bit of slide job and take that position from him. I think we'll see it especially later in the race. But the high side, that's a place you can carry momentum, and a guy in a spot you can even pinch the guy down on the bottom with. So curious how this is going to play out here on this final, not the final restart, but this restart coming up with Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO and Brandon Gritton.
Yeah, and if you're on that inside groove, I would say you use what we call the old hip check. In racing terminology, send it in there a little bit harder than you anticipate, maybe a little contact necessary here at Bristol, and then drive and turn off of them, get that good run down the front stretch. So your front row green flag in the air. Again, Josh Harbin too had made his way into the top four right before that caution flew. So your top four current runners, all championship contenders. Harbin now right in the mix, BUTTAFUOCO on the outside, trying to hold down Brandon Gritton, needs to lay on his doors a little bit more, giving Gritton a lot of room there on that bottom groove. And one of the advantages of having that top groove is the ability to take away the momentum of the person on the bottom groove. So you almost have to lean on them a little bit to pinch them down, take that momentum away from them. And BUTTAFUOCO, again, we've talked about it, one of the most respectful racers, doesn't like contact. And that may be playing as a weakness tonight here at Bristol. Currently, he's now in that second spot as Justin Brooks gets past him and puts him in the third spot. Harbin's still there as well. We'll probably try and follow Justin Brooks through. Yep, he'll try and follow him through as BUTTAFUOCO gives him the line on the bottom. Riding along now with your leader of Brandon Gritton. You saw him there. Again, pure focus out of that driver's face. Not much excitement at the moment yet, but we'll see it a little bit later if he's able to pull this off, Rusty. 3 wide behind your top four, though.
Looks like they got into the back of Josh Harbin. I don't know if he made a mistake on the exit of 4 and just had nowhere to go, but Josh Harbin losing track position kind of at the midway point of this race. He's about flirting around that 6th spot, but we were talking about Daniel BUTTAFUOCO and his perfectionism. I think once this race kind of gets into a long green flag run, that's what he wants. He wants to be able to hit his marks, be smooth, and reel these guys in. I think that's what he needs for the rest of the way, but we're right on board here with Justin Brooks. He's got the defending champion right on his front bumper. He's taking a peek there. He's showing the bumper. He's letting Brandon know he's there, but he's going to have a really strong car if he's going to make the bottom work. The Brandon Gritton, he's in the preferred groove, but Justin Brooks, we're going to make that bottom work going all the way to the bottom. Let's see if they're going to make contact, and they're side by side here for the lead, for the championship. This is unbelievable racing. Justin Brooks to make the bottom work, to hug the asphalt on the bottom. That's incredibly tough to do and be fast, but he's the best in the league for the reason, one of the best, and he's showing how to make it work. So unbelievable job by Justin Brooks to clear Brandon Gritton for the lead. Holy cow.
And now the name of the game is, does anyone have anything for Justin Brooks? Got past Gritton, already a couple car lengths between himself and second place. Slowly checking out here, quickly gaining on a half-second lead between himself and Brandon Gritton. And like you'd said, Rusty, easily one of the best in the league here. Hard for him to mess up. He's so consistent. We called him Mr. Consistent in season 1 because he always qualified well, ran well, had a couple wins under his belt, but really wasn't there at the end of the season to contend for a championship. But he's rose to the occasion this season. Daniel BUTTAFUOCO as well last year was there and in contention a couple times, but left season 1 feeling as though he didn't reach his full potential. Showed up this season and right off the bat, even in the preseason, was one of the tough ones to beat. Him and Brooks, class of the field on their platforms, and it's showing here once again tonight as he runs in that third spot. You can see Gritton there on the outside of him with that Fanatec wheel. Everyone pacing themselves in as I say that. The caution is out once again. 27 laps to go, Rusty.
Yeah, I think Gritton really wanted to see that yellow. It looked like his tires were fading. Maybe he just needed a reset to catch his breath. But BUTTAFUOCO was working the bottom there, and that was setting up to be a really good run to the finish with Brooks out front. BUTTAFUOCO maybe in P2. We'll see how the pit cycles play out here to see if they take right sides. But that was a really good race in there. We have the 4 championship contenders in the top 4. This thing is far from over. We have a lot of racing left. I think a lot of contact left. I cannot wait to see how this thing plays out here, Hannah. But so far, our championship contenders have raced each other clean and respectfully. They've kind of kept it on the bottom away from each other. Nobody sent it in there and moved, like body slammed them. It's just been really respectful so far. But I'm curious if it's going to heat up here as we're working our way towards the end of this race.
Still a handful of laps left to go here in the championship finale for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League as the green flag flies in Bristol, Tennessee. Once again, a handful of cautions that have shaken the field up. Whoa, contact with the wall instantly. Brandon Gritton, whoa, Justin Brooks gets away with it, but BUTTAFUOCO slides up into Gritton. Selby now in the mixture, as well as Josh Harbin. We ride along with Harbin, clears Gritton. Those two have history, Rusty. They've gotten into each other before. There's a lot of rough feelings between the two of them. Gritton may look for a little bit of rough retaliation for that driving, but Harbin just taking advantage of the situation because Gritton ultimately overdrove that initial start, got himself into the wall, but BUTTAFUOCO took advantage of it. So it's now Brooks, BUTTAFUOCO, Harbin, Gritton.
Yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of history between Josh Harbin and Brandon Gritton. They go way back in league racing. So there's a little bit of a natural rivalry with each other because they always battle for race wins. They're always in contention. So it's just natural they're going to make contact, and they're both aggressive drivers and they're not afraid to make contact. So with 20 to go, we saw when Brandon Gritton made a mistake on the restart, Josh Harbin had to put his nose in there and kind of pounce on the opportunity. So Brandon Gritton, your defending champion, has a lot of work to do, but we're seeing right in front of him, BUTTAFUOCO is right on the back bumper of Justin Brooks. This is the battle we've seen all season long, literally nose to tail when it comes to the end of these things. So this is going to be nuts. I think the thing that could really shake it up is if Josh Harbin or Brandon Gritton could get up there into P2 and maybe make a little contact and maybe mix it up a little bit, because they gotta work together at this point to work their way up to the leaders, because they're pulling away right now with 18 laps to go. BUTTAFUOCO right on the back bumper of Brooks. This thing is winding down fast, Hannah.
And you'd mentioned it there, if Harbin and Gritton can catch Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO. But Rusty, at the rate we're going, we're seeing multiple cautions. We're seeing guys at the back of the field, mid-pack even, racing extremely hard for those finishing positions, that extra little bit of purse money of the $10,000 purse that will be distributed, and that position or that opportunity for their team to pick next season in the draft. So we could see a late race caution. That could be the opportunity that Gritton and or Harbin need to get close to your leaders of Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO. And then imagine we have a shootout. We get that position. It's all out the door, Rusty.
Even though we have 14 to go, this thing could be a long ways from over if these cautions come out, but the battle up front is exactly what we wanted out of our championship contenders. They're nose to tail. I'm curious when Daniel's going to decide to try to make a move. Maybe he's going to go high. He's made the bottom work, but Brooks is going to have to play defense and kind of put his car right in that middle groove, just like that. He's got to kind of play with Daniel here, maybe kind of see what Daniel's maybe revealing with 13 to go here. But Brooks, this has been the story of the season, putting his car right there in front of Daniel. Daniel's got to figure it out in the final race of the season. How is he finally going to get by Justin Brooks to not only get the win, but pick up that championship victory? This is going to be insane. Brooks right on board here with that on the Fanatec wheel, nice and smooth. Look at the way he just holds it there. That's exactly what we want to see. His car is handling perfect on the exit of the corner. Oh, we see Josh Harbin and Brandon Grant make a little bit of contact back here, battling for third. I'm sure they're frustrated, but I think deep down they're having a lot of fun here to be on the stage and battling it out like this in the top four. So those guys are still duking it out right there. Long ways to go. They still could be up in contention, but with that history between those drivers, I'm sure they're going to laugh about this later, but the battle once again up front is Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO.
10 laps to go here at Bristol. Gritton used the wall almost to make that pass stick to that third spot, and you'd mentioned at the name of the game, Brooks and BUTTAFUOCO, magnets constantly between these two drivers, and imagine a dream scenario of them being able to compete as teammates. They'd be the dream team. Again, these two racing with respect, the class of the field, and constantly putting on good, respectful racing. BUTTAFUOCO's chances, though, are winding down. You see him, he's literally touching the back bumper of Brooks right now through the corner with 9 laps, coming up to 8 laps to go here at Bristol. He doesn't want to use the bumper. He doesn't want to be overly aggressive. But Rusty, I think he might have a faster car than Justin Brooks.
He definitely has a faster car. That's as close as you can get to the guy in front of you without wrecking him. He's right there in his marks. He's maybe going to have to hit that intimidate button to make Brooks maybe make a mistake, but Brooks hasn't made a mistake all season. And we see Daniel BUTTAFUOCO. He's thinking about maybe making the bottom work. He's thinking about maybe diamonding the corner, exiting low to get underneath him. He's going to have to somehow, I think, get underneath Justin Brooks to have an opportunity to get this win away. But we see him make a little bit of contact there on the outside wall, heading off into turn 1. But BUTTAFUOCO, he's got to find something that Brooks doesn't have there on the bottom and get underneath him, or at least I feel like when it comes down to it, you might just have to send it.
And I think that's exactly what we will see happen. I think BUTTAFUOCO is just going to have to send it, because Justin Brooks, you watch him, is to some extent driving out of his rearview mirror, but that's appropriate. That's what you have to do, because this is a win situation. You have to win and finish above the other 3 finale. Whoa, this might be it. BUTTAFUOCO to the inside of Justin Brooks. It was a little wobble. They make contact. They are side by side for the lead. BUTTAFUOCO and Brooks make contact. They bounce off of each other. Whoa, Justin Brooks with the lead. BUTTAFUOCO back to the inside. These two are going to wreck each other, Rusty.
It looks like they made a lot of contact, beating and banging, but that's what Bristol is all about. BUTTAFUOCO finally used the bumper to get by Brooks. We saw him do it. He had to do what he needed to do to get this championship. He needs 1 lap here. He needs 1 clean lap to stay ahead of Brooks, but there was a lot of contact as we're coming to the checker flag.
Wow, you see Justin Brooks drive it in super hard, but not enough to get it done. Checkered flag flies. Daniel BUTTAFUOCO is your champion. You can see the emotion on that driver's face. He did it. He won your 2020 eNASCAR Heat Pro League Championship. You know his family's there celebrating with him. Disbelief on that driver's face, Rusty.
Oh, I love the emotion. This driver, he's dedicated everything to this series. Coming into the season, he said it was all about winning. He literally spent his every day grinding, just these setups, practice, everything to be the best in the league. And when it mattered most, he rose up and beat one of the best drivers in the world in Justin Brooks. So huge congratulations to Daniel BUTTAFUOCO to be our season 2 champion, Hannah. This is unbelievable. I'm just so proud and happy for Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, all the work paying off for him here tonight.
Absolutely, and he deserved it, to say the least. He was strong. He was one of the class of the field with Justin Brooks. If it wasn't going to be Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, it was going to be Justin Brooks. And Bristol Motor Speedway holds a special place in my heart as well. I don't know what it is about drivers and emotions and getting worked up, but I seem to always have that. I got chills and almost choked up there for Daniel Buttafuoco. You could see the tears flying. For someone like him, this amount of money can go so far with him. He'd mentioned putting it in savings, and we'll talk to him here shortly about that. But I almost had to bite the inside of my cheek there, Rusty, because the emotions for someone like this to put a full season into it and have it pay off is huge.
Yeah, you got to feel good for Daniel Buttafuoco, and he just used the absolute legendary move, the one Bristol is known for, the bump and run. He did it to get by Justin Brooks. I got to imagine Justin Brooks, he understood the bump was coming. A little bit of heartbreak from such a dominating season, so I'm sure there's a little bit of heartbreak there, but you got to give credit to Daniel Buttafuoco to being right there on his back bumper, to be in position to use that iconic bump and run move to clinch a championship. $30,000. Holy cow, Hannah, what a finish to that race.
Yeah, absolutely. And take a look here again at that replay. Lots of cautions involved, but nonetheless, exciting finale here at Bristol.
I'm
sorry about that. Again, no replay here, but we're going to go to your results instead and see how everyone crossed the start-finish line in your championship finale. Daniel Buttafuoco, again, with that win. Justin Brooks coming home in the second spot. Brandon Gritton, Josh Harbin, your top 4 championship contenders, all finishing in the top 4. Matthew Selby, Lewis Zader, and Kyle Arnold. Good rebound for Kyle Arnold here, coming home within the top 10.
Yeah, it is really cool to see those championship 4 finish top 4, but we're taking a look at page 2. Mike Bross, strong P8. Josh Parker, I think a little bit of heartbreak of a night for him in P9. Corey Rothgeb, Jason Mitchell, Tedeschi, one of our championship contenders, finishing P12. Joe Gornick and Joey Stone finishing P4 in the final event of the season.
And the tail end of the field, everyone else rounding out here. Maxwell Castro, again, eliminated in the second race, coming home in 17th. Slade Gravett as well in that 18th spot. TJ McGowan for JTG Daugherty, teammates with Justin Brooks, comes home in that 21st spot.
And to wrap it up here, Matthew Heel with a 22, Casey Masser, 23, Brandon Hanna, 24, Nick Jobs, 25 in the 25, Diego Alvarado on 26. We saw him show a lot of respect and give the championship leaders some room there late in the race. So cool, Diego there. And Tyler Dohar, Sam Morris bring home in 27 and 28.
Well, Rusty, this is everything we could have asked for in a championship race. One of the last lap passes, a constant battle, your top 4 championship contenders within the top 4, racing each other for those positions. And we said it a little bit ago, we're going to show you this championship bracket one more time. And the next time we show it to you, it will have your 2020 eNASCAR Heat Pro League champion. There it is, Rusty.
Daniel Buttafuoco is your Season 2 NASCAR Heat Pro League champion. Congratulations once again. Justin Brooks, an unbelievable season. I don't think we'll ever see a season like that again from that driver. Brandon Gritton didn't quite call a shot, but he was up there leading, so that was really cool to see in that mid part of the race. Daniel Buttafuoco once again a champion, and Josh Harbin. Man, I really thought he'd have something for here tonight, but he brings it home, I believe, in P3.
There you have it, your championship 4 and your eNASCAR Heat Pro League champion. And we talked about it throughout the season. Again, only one driver would come home a champion, but throughout the season, we kept track of the team standings. And it was all about bragging rights at this point. Again, only one driver was the champion, but there was one team that seemed to really walk away with those championship standings due to both their teammates being consistent. Unfortunately, Kyle Arnold had a rough run throughout the remainder of the season, never collecting those wins, but was there. Germain Gaming, therefore, between him and Buttafuoco, walk away with your unofficial team championship standings. Justin Brooks, man, with the season he had, definitely helped in placing JTG Daugherty Throttlers in that second spot, Rusty.
Yeah, looking back at P3 and P4, that has been the battle all season, the trash talk, the hype between Stuart Haas, Chip Ganassi Gaming. I'm sure Stuart Haas is going to let Ganassi know. Maybe they've already let him know that they finished above him in the standings. Really competitive battle between all those drivers. Wood Brothers Gaming, really competitive season. They picked up a lot of wins with Slade Gravett and Cody Giles, so I'm looking for them to continue that success in Season 3. Team Penske, they're all season. Gibbs, I think a surprising finish for Gibbs in P7 with their performance this season.
Yeah, a lot of those guys shaking up in the last couple of races in that final segment and in tonight's race as well. Petty Esports, we saw Mike Broskett get some good finishes as well in that 9th spot. RCR Esports, I know Joey Stone was really looking to get a good run and a good win, but they will come home in 10th. Junior Motorsports with DOHAR and Joe Gornick in that 13th spot. I know they'll look to rebound maybe in Season 3, do a little off-season reconstruction for teams like Roush Fenway Gaming, Hendrick Motorsports, as well as Go Fast Gaming. But there it is, guys, your 14 teams this season and how everyone shook out in those championship team points. You know, over the offseason, Rusty, a lot of these guys are going to be doing a little talking, doing a little reconstructing, maybe scouting some new drivers, some new talent that we haven't seen here in the Pro League yet. We may see some trades.
Yeah, trades. The rumors are already flying. I've talked to these drivers behind the scenes. They're already maybe just discussing potential plans for season 3 or potential opportunities that might open up. But Hannah, these drivers, they are the best drivers in NASCAR Heat in the world. There are other guys out there that are looking to get at this opportunity for season 3, get into the qualifiers. And with NASCAR Heat 5, you can take advantage of that. You can get the practice in. You can get into these esports lobbies and put your name up on that leaderboard and get noticed. So if you weren't part of season 2, there's definitely an opportunity for season 3. And I look forward to see the guys that are going to go out there and battle with a Justin Brooks and a Daniel Buttafuoco for seasons to come.
Well, it's time to talk to our championship driver. He finally got it done, Daniel Buttafuoco. The emotions are flying, but first take a look here a little bit more about Daniel Buttafuoco. Daniel, it finally came down to it here. We got to see your emotions first and foremost. Congratulations on your 2020 NASCAR Heat Pro League champion. What are the emotions right now that you're feeling? We got to see him a little bit with your family as the checkered flag flew, but has it set in yet that you are taking home this championship tonight?
It's an unreal feeling. I am just humbled and honored to be champion. To be racing for an incredible organization as Germain Racing and to have Geico as my sponsor. A lot of emotion, and as you can see, I've worked very hard to get to this level. Just so many hours, just a lot of hard work, and just there was so much stress leading up to this race, to these races. I put so much pressure on myself because I want to do well, I want to win, I want to be the best. And, you know, just we got so lucky at Michigan because we sped. I don't know how. I made a mistake, and I was just praying. That we would get a caution, and we did, and that saved us. And then we just kept being consistent at Phoenix. And I don't think I should have done that move on Brooks. I moved him. I was racing him rough. I really want to apologize to him. I think he would have done the same to me, but I apologize to him. I know he's really mad about it. I hope we could talk it out. But I don't know. I had to go. I was the faster car. I was probably the bad move by me, but hey, I mean, we raced each other clean all season. I have massive respect for him as a competitor, and I hope that we can continue the race here fourth. Now on to the thank yous. Incredible, massive thank you to Kyle Arnold and Sam Jones and Larry Rogers for putting the faith in me to race for them this season. It's an incredible honor to be racing them. I want to thank Ty Dillon for the shout-out video before the race. Thank you, Ty. All my friends who I race with in leagues, Team Firewood, there you are, eSpark, SXRL, RSR, you know who you are. Got to thank everybody from my family. My mom and my dad are here. They could probably jump in here. They're all wearing Geico hats, so they're really happy. Everyone in my family from Texas, other parts of New Jersey, New York, even California, and I think even Indiana are watching, so it's pretty crazy. All my friends from school. You two. Oh my goodness, you two. You were incredible at commentary. Hannah, Rusty, your enthusiasm is incredible. I love watching Back to Race and hearing your emotion and passion for racing. Thank you so much. Massive thank you to NASCAR Heat, everyone from the Pro League for making this season incredible. Fanatec for these awesome wheels. ASUS for the incredible PCs that they gave us. Oh my goodness. And also got to thank, my great-grandmother. She unfortunately passed away 10 years ago when I was 9. And I really miss her. And I stopped by her gravesite 2 days ago just to pay respects and just to get close with her. And I am 100% sure her guardian angel was sitting right next to me the whole time. And with that, I got to thank God, the good Lord up there as well. My grandma and grandpa, just everyone who's made this what it is. I'm sorry for such a long answer. There's a lot of conflicting emotions. Like, I probably shouldn't have moved Brooks. I feel terrible, but at the same time, we're champions.
I want to ask about that. So we interviewed leading into the
just can't
championship.
believe it.
Oh yeah, so we interviewed leading into the championship. You're known as one of the cleaner, most respectful drivers. I think you even said you would not move a guy. But I got to ask, those final laps, you were right there on his bumper. It looked like you had a better car. At what point in the run did you decide, I can't get by this guy, or maybe like there's nothing I can do, I have to use my bumper? At what point in that run did you flip the switch and say, we got to do the bump and run and we got to go win this championship?
It was maybe like 5 to go. I just had such good drive off. I don't know how. I mean, the drive off was incredible. And that there is all thanks to, once again, Kyle Arnold and Scout for all their help in the setups. We had a really good drive off. I'll be honest, I'm conflicted. I like to race guys clean and respect. That's what I always try to hold to. But I'll be honest, I was getting moved out of the way a lot that race. I was getting pushed up at the 14 and was getting moved at a 95. I was a little heated, even though you saw no emotion. I was pretty upset inside. And it's probably not the best move to make. I'm probably going to regret it in the future. But hey, I mean, you probably would have done the same to me, honestly. So at the end of the day, just I can't believe we're champions. It's just an incredible feeling. Just I have Jimmy Spencer's crying towel, as you can see. I was so overwhelmed. So I got that going for me. Just wow. Holy cow. It's getting hot in here. Oh my goodness, Bristol, baby. Another thing too, Bristol's one of my worst tracks, so I don't know how we pulled that one out, but yeah, it's hot. Oh my goodness.
Well, Daniel, again, it's been so fun to watch you all season. Heck, you made it 15 races running clean, running respectful. If you're going to do something like that, to do it on the championship race in this situation, it was a move of legendary racers. So you did what you had to do. You collected that championship. You're $30,000 richer here, and you now have crowned yourself a champion here in the NASCAR Heat Pro League. Congratulations again, and we're going to let you go celebrate with your family and your team, and we look forward to talking to you over the offseason as you represent us for the champion over the offseason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, guys, Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, your eNASCAR Heat Pro League 2020 champion. And I'm going to call him when I need thank yous written, Rusty.
Yeah, that was quite the post-race interview, but he's known for that. He's very professional. Thanks everyone, the sponsors, the team, everybody that gives him those race cars, is the crew chief behind him, Scout, Kyle Arnold. That's what it takes to get a championship. So that's a huge credit to Daniel BUTTAFUOCO to cite those guys in that championship victory. So once again, congratulations to Daniel BUTTAFUOCO and everybody a part of season 2. This was a really fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations to everyone that made that championship 8, those that collected wins over the season, the teams. And most of all, thank you to all of our fans that have joined us throughout the season that started earlier in the year as far as the preseason, everyone that took place during preseason testing, our drivers and our friends over at Motorsports Games, our sponsors. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And thank you, Rusty, as well. I know you got brought into this, and it's been so much fun working alongside you. The enthusiasm is I catch on to it. I can't help but feel myself get so much more excited as we get to talk racing each and every week, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
Yeah, I was definitely not born to be behind the wheel, but being up in the booth, watching these races, sharing the view with watching the competitors, unbelievable season. This is the most fun I've ever had in my life. It's just an absolute privilege to watch the best in the business do what they do best, especially on the big stage like here in the championship finale event.
Well, again, congratulations, Daniel BUTTAFUOCO, your eNASCAR Heat Pro League 2020 champion. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We look forward to talking some eNASCAR with you guys over the offseason and to next season. But until then, I'm Hannah Newhouse for Rusty Walrus and the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. We will see you guys next time here on eNASCAR.
NASCAR Heat 5. Refuse to lose.